times you have tuned in, eager to see who would rise to the occasion. From our last winner to our very first winner on Speed, one driver has lifted the championship trophy 4 times, and some familiar faces have been in your living room for all 200 races. You already know truck racing takes the cake again tonight. We've spent over 8 years talking, laughing, discussing, and absolutely loving the fact that we've been able to bring the sport and the series we love to you each weekend. Tonight, we do it again. The setup presented by Polaris, a celebration edition, is on. Hello, everyone. I'm Krista Voda, and for the 200th time, welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed. That's right. It's our 200th race broadcast, and we have had some amazing moments in our first 199. We are going to share those with you tonight, including our most recent.
Down the backstretch, the final 2 turns, into 3, coming out of 4, Johnny Sauter wins at Martinsville.
And looking at our points, we're only 4 races in. That win helped launch Sauter into the points lead. Thor Sport Racing actually 1-2 in the points. The newest name on this list, Miguel Paludo. He now joins teammate Timothy Peters in the top 10. They are all chasing Johnny Be Good. I am so excited about our next half hour. As we said, we are going to count down the top 10 best moments that we feel have happened on the racetrack, the top 10 moments that we've been able to bring to you every single weekend. And there have certainly been some great ones. Let's go ahead and kick things off with what we feel is number 10. It was a manufacturer milestone.
Number 24 truck of Travis Quapple. He needs to win today for his sponsor, who's sponsoring this race.
2 Toyotas out front. Toyota's never won in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. History in the making. No Toyota has ever won in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and a Toyota gets spun around coming out of turn 4. That's David Ruderman in the number 17.
Rick, the race is over right now. They already took the white flag before the caution flag came out.
Caution and checkered flag will fly, and it will be Travis Quapple, your winner at Michigan International Speedway.
I think throughout the night you'll find out that Travis Quapple will be in a number of our favorite moments, but back then we didn't know if Toyota was going to be the stronghold they turned out to be. What's your favorite memory of that day in Michigan?
Well, I mean, it was so cool just to have a fast truck, you know, and probably my favorite memory was pulling into victory lane and just seeing the excitement and the emotion on the faces of my guys. You know, just everybody was so happy. You know, they worked so hard. Not only that was a startup team, that was, you know, Toyota's first year in the Truck Series, obviously. So just the raw excitement in the air.
That team was called Bang Racing, and I have to tell you, when you talk about a big bang, you got to talk about Germain Racing and Texas Todd.
Todd Bodine wins at Texas.
Another great performance by the Germain Arnold Motorsports team.
The truck was perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect.
30 of Todd Bodine has taken over the top spot, and he will win in Texas again. Side by side for the lead. Bodine on the outside, Skinner on the inside.
He said he didn't know if he could do it on the outside, and he drove by him.
There he goes, Skinner on the inside. Bodine on the outside. Bodine closes the door, and Bodine wins for the 3rd time in Texas. 4 laps to go. Bodine looks high. Crawford's going to follow. Bishop makes it. Contact. Here comes Skinner. Todd Bodine looks down to the low side of the track, and he doesn't want to give Mike Skinner any type of a draft. Bodine will win. Todd Bodine will win at Texas again. 5 times for Bodine. Todd Bodine, 4 forcing his way. 1 lap of racing to go. Todd Bodine has been the dominant truck. The birdie of Todd Bodine wins 6 times at Texas.
It's difficult enough to win 1 race at Texas Motor Speedway, but you guys strung together 6 wins between 2004 and 2010. How'd you guys do that?
I don't know. I mean, it starts off, you got to have a good truck. I mean, it's got to be handling. You got to have good motors, good aerodynamics. You got to have the whole package. And Junior has done a great job with our trucks consistently being good. And everybody talks about our mile-and-a-half program, how strong it is. And that's because Junior and Tom and the guys, they understand what I need in a truck to go fast at the miles and a half. And we've been lucky. You know, we had 1 race at Texas. We had something caught in the carburetor, one of the jets, and we were coming down pit road to change it, and it actually fell out, and when the thing started running good, we went back to the front. One time we got off on tire sequence, got lap down, got the tires, got the lap back, and then the win. So, I mean, you got to have luck to go along with it, but we've had a lot of great trucks, and I'm just fortunate to have a good race team.
These guys put it together. 6 wins at Texas, Krista. That's quite an accomplishment.
Thanks, Hermie. This series has certainly seen its share of characters, big drivers with even bigger personalities. Some are flashy on the track, others are flamboyant in victory lane. With a single flip in this series, a superstar was born. It's moment number 8.
Flag flies and we're racing at Kentucky. Out in front, running away from the pack is the number 99 of Carl Edwards, and this kid is going to be excited if he can hold on. Coming out of turn number 4, he sees the checkered flag and wins.
Hey, Carl, I love you, buddy. All right, let's do a hell of a burnout, then we're going to do a back flip. Man, this is the greatest day of my life.
Carl Edwards celebrating victory number 1.
Well, that seems like just yesterday, Carl Edwards, when you did that first backflip at Kentucky. Did you ever dream that you'd be a nationwide champion and you'd have 55 NASCAR victories 8 years later?
No, I would not. I still remember that race like it just happened. Ted Musgrave was behind me. And they said, I think it was 18 laps to go. I was like, well, I'm not going to make it these 18 laps. My heart was pounding so hard. My mouth was dry. My arms were hurting just I was so nervous. And that first win was huge. I can't thank Jack Roush enough. We didn't have a sponsor, and he stuck with me that whole year in the Truck Series. You guys broadcast the races and did such a good job. We got sponsorship. You moved me up to the Cup Series, and now we're on our way, man. That was cool.
It was fun to watch the ride for sure. My favorite memory for this guy, his big win at Daytona, Krista.
Ray, we love having Carl come back and join us here on the Truck Series. It's sort of like going back to your hometown or visiting your grade school. He was actually our first interview when the setup first began in 2006. Carl was with us. He also joined us for milestone series race number 300 in Dover in 2007, so only appropriate that we talk to him here for our 200th broadcast on speed. Now, as you can see, we bring you the action as it's happening. When we came on the air, these trucks were not even out on the racetrack yet. Nationwide practice just wrapping up. These guys are getting ready to go. We bring you all the action as quick as it happens, and sometimes you're joining us as it's happening here on the Truck Series. That's what makes it so fun. Hey, speaking of Carl, did you know that he was actually part of the race that makes up moment number 7? As we go to break, we'll be back with more, but see if you remember this.
Flag flies and we're back to racing. Green, white, checkered in the Truck Series.
Look at Shane drive to the inside. He wants to make sure Bobby doesn't drive to the inside of him. Got a great start. Look at Bobby go to the outside.
This is it. This is it. Here we go. It's incredible. Caution flag.
Caution flag flies.
We will have a second green, white checker. Bobby drives to the outside. He pulls up beside him again. Kidding.
My gosh, this is incredible. They're big.
Oh, they hit the wall. Bobby Hamilton up almost on 2 wheels.
We will have another green, white checker.
Into turns 1 and 2. Chad Chaffin with a pretty comfortable lead.
Whoa!
Another crash.
Here we go again.
Up on the side. That's the 14 of Rick Crawford sliding sideways down the backstretch.
Oh, Lord.
Unbelievable.
Here we go again.
Moves him out of the way, and David Starr moves in front. David Starr in the Spears Manufacturing number 75 Chevrolet comes out and wins.
The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World's Grill Fest, May 9th through 11th. Check out Camping World's complete set of grills, chairs, and all of your outdoor enjoyment needs. And brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com.
Here comes Todd Bodine. Early on. Bodine's going to move him out of the way. Todd Bodine trying to hang on to the truck. Skinner trying to make the pass.
Off the racetrack. Both
sideways. As they both go sideways, the field goes by them. Johnny Benson is going to see the checkered flag. Benson wins in Nashville.
Nashville has certainly had some magic moments, an honorable mention there. Of course, a win here means one of the most coveted trophies in all of sports. We're talking about the Sam Bass custom design Gibson guitar. That's Sam holding his piece of art. Always special. All the drivers want one of those. Welcome back to Nashville, our very special 200th race episode here on Speed. You know, Ron Hornaday won his guitar in 2009. Tonight, he has not one, not two, but 3 teammates, 4 Kevin Harvick Incorporated owned trucks in this field. And when we talk of some of our best moments, you have to go back to 2009, that year Ron won here. But what about his sizzling summer stretch? That's moment number 6.
Hornaday has already led 134 times around this track. Out in front of this field, though, there's the difference. As it comes out of turn number 4, Hornaday will be a repeat winner at the Milwaukee Mile. Hornaday with Brian Scott right on his back bumper. Hornaday will come to the start-finish line and win his second Elvis Trophy. Hornaday coming out of turn number 4. Hornaday stays in front of Skinner. Hornaday will win it.
3 in a row for Ron Hornaday.
Can Hornaday do it? Can he make history? He's got the outside. There goes Ron Hornaday. Hornaday takes away the top spot. Hornaday will set a record. 4 in a row. 3 wide as they come to the stripe. That's for the lead. Hornaday takes it away. The real history is being made. Ron Hornaday will win 5 races in a row in the Camping World Truck Series.
I don't know how it is not much better than this. I don't know what to say.
No question about it. This guy's names are all over the record books. The championships were big. The 47 wins are big, but 5 in a row, that might pretty high on our list of all-time accomplishments, Ron. You're looking back on it, your memories of how cool that was to get 5 in a row.
In this series, just to get 1's good enough, but to get 5, that just says a lot for KHI and what Kevin Delaney gave me to race. So messed up qualifying, so we're going to have to figure it out, but it's a good track for us. We run good here, so hopefully we get another guitar.
And at the very end of those 5 in a row, Hornaday was in victory lane right here at Nashville. When we look at our other favorite moments, how in the world could you forget the great finishes at Talladega?
Here comes the field. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch down on the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to push Eric Almirola.
Remember, there's already a plan in effect with the 51 of Almirola and the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch talked to Almirola before this race. I'll help you around the racetrack. You did it for me last year. Are they going to make the move? Here comes Sauter looking to the inside. Almirola in front of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is going to move to the inside. It's a drag race. They're 3 wide at the stripe. It looked as though Kyle Busch may have outlasted Almirola. 2/1000ths of a second.
Holy cow.
I think you got it, bud.
Unbelievable.
That was a hell of a move.
Well, Kyle Busch loves to do things in exciting fashion. Great finish at Talladega. What are your memories of that one?
It was, all I remember was Eric and I trying to get together towards the end of the race and push each other and see what we can come out with, you know, and it came down to the tri-oval there, and I was kind of pushing him through, and I was walking myself up the track a little bit. And once I got my right front out, I ducked back and got to his inside and was able to beat him to the line. So pretty memorable day there with our Traxxas Tundra, but hopefully we can have another memorable day for all the Dollar General guys, everybody from Dollar General being here today in Nashville, and looking forward to starting on a pole and trying to win this thing again, somewhat similar to last year.
And Krista, my question is, if that's number 5, we got a lot of excitement left to come on this show.
That's exactly right, Hermie. We're only halfway through the list. Kyle Busch mentioned his truck. It's lined up right behind me there, the number 18. You know, it's not just close race finishes that we have in this series. It's close championship finishes. This series is known for taking the title all the way to the final race. So when we looked at Homestead, we couldn't pick just one. Separate two drivers. That boils down to less than one position. Basically, leading laps aside, whoever finishes ahead of the other wins the championship. Ron Hornaday is racing for his 4th title, the most in series history. Johnny Benson races for his 1st.
Again, we talked about it would probably come down to who finishes in front of the other driver in this championship hunt, and that is the case now. Now just 2 positions between Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday.
3 laps to go.
The caution has come out once again. It will be a green-white checkered finish. The champion will be decided. Green in the air. Todd Bodine gets a good restart. Johnny Benson also a good one. Here comes Ron Hornaday. Down the back stretch they go. Johnny Benson has the lead in this championship. Can he hold on to it? One truck separates Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday.
Guys, I think he has too far to go. I don't think he can catch him, Mikey.
Coming out of turn number 4, it's going to be Todd Bodine winning the race, and Johnny Benson will win the championship. Woo! Wow!
Unbelievable. What a race.
This is going to come down to a real gunfight, guys. I'm telling you, between Skinner and Hornaday, 29 points. This championship has been lost easily here in the past. That's what you're going to see tonight.
Oh, hang on, Skinner. Loose. Big time loose. Almost loses it right there. You're hearing him say the right rear is flat, but he looks up.
No, I wouldn't say that. He can feel that. If that right rear's flat, he's going to know it. I'll tell you, if Mike Skinner has to make another unscheduled pit stop like this may be it for Mike Skinner's championship hopes right here.
And there goes the left rear, off of the 5. It's Mike Skinner having trouble. The caution flag will fly.
This is good for Skinner, though. Ron Hornaday has to beat Mike Skinner by 12 positions. What a terrific season Mike Skinner had. He knows that more than likely Ron Hornaday is going to win this championship.
Johnny Benson coming to the start-finish line. He'll win the season. And how about our champion? Coming across the start-finish line, he will finish 7th in this race, but number 1 in the points.
Awesome job, guys. I have no idea what to say. Unbelievable.
I don't know about you, but I get goosebumps watching all those old finishes. You know, spooky things happen when a championship is on the line. But tonight, our spookiest character isn't even with us. Michael Waltrip is in France testing for Le Mans, but our booth never looked so good. DW is a Nashville local. He joins Rick Allen and Phil Parsons. And, boys, it's tough to pick just one favorite moment.
Yeah, Krista, the old adage, you know, it's amazing how we can go for so long and still are entertained by virtually every race. And then all of a sudden it comes down to the last race of the season before we can decide our champions. And we had that happen twice, 2 very amazing finishes at Homestead.
Yeah, you know, you look at mechanical failures. The wheel comes off. I mean, how many times is a wheel, the whole hub and all came off? That never happens. But then the strategy with Hornaday and Benson, I mean, that's what we'll see tonight. That strategy on the pit box, when to pit. 2 tires, 4 tires, all those things that a crew chief has to deal with in a very short period of time. These are short races. That's why the drama is so high.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's never ceased to amaze me that these races and these seasons can come down after 25 races to the last lap. We saw an instance when Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday, and whoever finished ahead of each other is going to win the championship. It's amazing after all the racing, the thousands and thousands of miles, and the pit stops. All over this country, we come down to the last lap in the last race of the year.
It's always fun, and it's been a lot of fun, obviously, with the different people that have joined us up here in the booth. I know this being our 200th broadcast here on Speed is pretty amazing, but, you know, DW, you've done quite a few races with us, and there's a long list of people that have been a part of these broadcasts.
Yeah, there is, and I'm just glad to be one of those guys. I love working with you guys. I tell Mikey that all the time, and Mikey gets a little paranoid.
He does.
I walk in the room, and he always gets a little paranoid. But anyway, I'm glad I could fill in for him. He's over getting ready for Le Mans, and so Le Mans, it's good to be here tonight. Home race for me, and love working with you guys, just like all the other people that have been up here do.
That adage that I was trying to say earlier was time flies when you're having fun. We have fun every race, Krista.
And it's moments like that. You just never know what you get with live television, and we can guarantee this. And it's tough to make a guarantee in racing, but nobody has more fun than this broadcast group. It is raw. It is wild. Hey, would you believe Elliott Sadler is a rookie? He's never been to this track, so despite hanging out with Nashville regulars like Blake Shelton, he's trying to impress his country music friends with a guitar of his own. More to come, including moments 1 and 2. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by FreeCreditScore.com. Get your score. And by Liquifeed. Give your plants the perfect balance of water and nutrients to grow twice as big with Liquifeed from Miracle Grow. With 200 races on Speed, our truck broadcasts have had a longer run than both I Love Lucy and Gilligan's Island. 51 more races, and we will catch MASH. Now that's good company. Welcome back to Nashville, and as we get ready to go racing for the 200th time here on Speed, we're also counting down our top 10 moments from the past 199 events, and we're up to the final 2. This one is one of my favorites because, like a good movie, it had heroes, villains, and a very interesting plot twist. The year was 2003.
We're in the midst of one of the greatest point battles that's ever been in the Craftsman Truck Series right here.
Ted Musgrave has got 4 teammates.
Strategy is strategy. You know, you wouldn't enter 5 trucks if you didn't have a reason to enter 5 trucks.
Travis Quapple's got 1 teammate. Brendan Gaughan has a teammate.
I don't think teammates are really going to play much of a role in this race.
Big problems. Our point leader gets spun around and hit hard into the wall.
I don't believe it.
All because they were coming to the yellow.
Oh, and he hit very hard.
Brendan, you okay?
You see Brendan taking the steering wheel off.
What a shame.
That's Marty Houston in the 10 out here in front sliding. That truck wouldn't have been in this field if they wouldn't have entered 5.
We had a Dodge that could win the championship. And Jimmy Smith can kiss my
The championship just went away.
But we've got 3 other championship contenders now. We've got a real battle now. For the championship. Green, white, checker.
Green flag.
Here comes Ted. Well, Ted pulled to the inside there. You're not supposed to do that.
They are going to black flag Ted Musgrave. Travis Quapple will win the 2003 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Boy, how would you like to be black flagged out of a championship?
You are the Craftsman Truck Series champ.
I don't know if I got tears in my eyes or if it's from the champagne. This is pretty awesome.
And what we love is that we have Travis Quapple, and there you see Brendan Gaughan in our series racing today. It's been nearly 8 years since that moment. You can bet Brendan Gaughan still thinks back to that race. But okay, here's my question for you. If that wasn't number 1, what possibly could be? Well, we take you back to an epic race at a legendary venue. It's our number 1 moment. We'll be back.
Caution lights are off, green, white checker, buckle up, buttercup. This is what it's all about. Keep your eyes on this.
2 Dodges lined up on the high side. Rick Crawford on the low side. And here comes Terry Cook now on the high side. Terry Cook going for the pass as they go into turn 1.
3 wide. They split Terry Cook in the middle. Crawford to the downside. He's going to get help. Here comes Travis Quapple.
Robert Presley out in front. He's going to be able to block Crawford and stay on the bottom.
Then it sets around the outside of Bobby Hamilton.
Here they come out of forward. Presley dodging to the high side. Crawford goes down low. He tries to make the pass. As they're coming to the line, it's Rick Crawford making the pass. And Crawford wins to Daytona 250.
You'll not see any better race than that one, guys.
Unbelievable. Rick Crawford with a move. Presley actually tries to go up on the high side. Crawford ducks down low.
120 races since Rick Crawford was in Victory Lane. What do you think of that? You're a winner at Daytona, buddy.
This is Victory Lane, Daytona. We're going to be here all night long.
Nashville owns the NASCAR spotlight this weekend. It's trucks tonight, Nationwide Series tomorrow. Next week, a doubleheader of a different sort. Thursday night, Denny Hamlin's charity event. Friday night, we will have the Nationwide race right here on Speed. Well, we've been talking all about the things that have changed over the years, but one constant has been, as we look at our celebratory cake, we want to thank Julia's Homestyle Bakery for this. The constant has been Matt Crafton. You have been here for all 199 races.
I am. I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, I got to thank Speed for what they've done for the truck series, and they've done a lot for my career, and it's awesome to be here as long as I have.
And it'd be poetic if you win number 200. Can you do it?
We've got a little work to do tonight, but this Menard Chevy, I mean, we've got a lot of fight left in us. I think we got a pretty good truck, and it's turning now. It was very loose qualifying. I was tight all day, so now we make a few adjustments throughout tonight, and we'll be all right.
And you obviously have a best moment. I would imagine it was that Charlotte race. What did that feel like?
Yeah, that was awesome. Charlotte win there was awesome. So hopefully we can get one tonight on 200, like you said, and just have a good season.
And we're giving you first dibs at this cake. I mean, it's this giant cake, and you could eat. I don't know. Is that proper pre-race meal to have a slice of cake?
Yeah. You want some too?
Yeah, I would love some. We don't have forks or anything though. I was wondering how you were going to do that. It tastes good. I mean, Julia makes a good cake. I would do it to you, but how mad would you be if I put your face in there right now?
I got a lot on my hand.
You do? I don't know what you're going to do that. If I lick, I'm going to know. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks.
Thank you.
We would love to see you in Victory Lane, but if you're there might be payback.
You can. I mean, I'll give you full permission.
It's delicious. All right, we have a lot of great moments. What else will happen tonight? I can only imagine. Before we go racing, it's good. Let's keep it trackside for tonight's opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the presentation of colors by the United States Army Nashville Recruiting Battalion. Remain standing for invocation given tonight by Joe Nelms, pastor of Family Baptist Church in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for allowing us to come to this wonderful track. Thank you for what this weekend means to us, Lord. Thank you for sending your Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for our sins. Now, Lord, as you said in your word, that we're compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside the sin and the weight that does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. I pray you'd help these drivers, Lord. Give them nerves of steel. Give them courage in their veins. And God, give them an eye for the line that you'd have them run around this wonderful track. We thank you and praise you for what you've done for us, what you're going to do here tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join us for our national anthem, performed tonight by Mia Jones.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of
The race team's getting ready behind me with high fives. I cannot believe Matt Crafton threw a cake in my face. You still see remnants of it on the microphone, but we gave you our countdown of the top 10 moments so far. We know another one will be written here tonight. It's the Bully Hill Vineyards 200 here at Nashville. Why should you stay glued to your seat? In 11 races here, we've seen only one repeat winner. That means 10 different drivers have claimed a Truck Series guitar.
$199 checkered flags, 199 victory laps, 199 burnouts, 199 Gatorade showers, 199 winner interviews, 199 trophies, 199 victory lane celebrations, 199 memories. History awaits the 200th.
We're under the lights at Nashville Superspeedway. Thank you for joining us for race number 200 here on Speed. And welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Bully Hill Vineyards 200, presented on Speed by Pep Boys. There was inclement weather in the area yesterday and this morning, but partly cloudy skies for all of the action today as the sun begins to set. 76 degrees and a light breeze. Johnny Sauter comes into this race as your points leader for the first time in his career. But he will be chasing the driver of the number 18. Kyle Busch has won everything at the track already today. Can he top it off with hoisting the guitar at the end of the night? We're about to find out. We're going to fire the engine. We go trackside for the command.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, with that command we've been waiting for, please welcome from Bully Hill Vineyards, Mia Decor.
On behalf of Bully Hill Vineyards, drivers, start your engines.
Crank it up. Okay. You go ahead and crank it up.
The engines are fired up, and if you missed it, Krista Voda just had a face full of cake thanks to Matt Crafton as we're celebrating our 200th race here on Speed. That has to be one of your storylines, right, Krista?
No, the cake was actually very good. I probably should be thanking Matt. I'm the only one who got dessert. We've been talking about the theme 200, but there's a different theme tonight. The theme of unique. This is a unique track. Concrete, but also the longest concrete track on the circuit for these guys. Also, unique spotlight, a unique schedule with the Cup Series off. All eyes are here on Nashville. And also, as we mentioned, that unique trophy, the Sam Bass custom design Gibson guitar. Everybody wants it. It's one of the most coveted trophies, not just in racing, but in all of sports. And today is Earth Day. Here at Speed, we're all about conservation. We're not wasting a second tonight. You blink, you are going to miss something. Oh, and the pressure of winning race number 200 on Speed. Rick? Oh, like we need to see it again. This, if you missed it, man, he got me good too. As Rick mentioned, that was Matt. We had Matt Crafton on because he has been in all 199 races and gave me a face full of cake. Thanks, Matt.
I'm sorry, Krista.
Look at
we
how
had
nice
to do that.
Off,
we had to show that one more time, and I'm sure it's going to be played more and more through the years here on Speed. Welcome, everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and Darrell Waltrip with you for our 200th broadcast here on Speed of the Camping World Truck Series. And it's a big milestone, but let's talk a little bit about this race and how do you get by Kyle Busch? The guy has been dominant today.
Well, this is a tough track to pass on. The groove is narrow. I heard Kyle Busch say in his interview that the groove actually narrows up. It doesn't get wider, so trying to get around people on the outside is very difficult. And you get up in that little bit of loose stuff that's up there, and I've seen it time and time again, man. You take off, and you're lucky if you don't hit the fence. So passing is at a premium. A good place to pass would be in the pits, but hopefully it'll be on the track. And, by the way, Krista's already had dessert, but we're getting ready for the main course.
That's right.
Remember now, Kyle Busch has had double the practice of most of these drivers because he's driving the nationwide race as well. So he's been on the racetrack all afternoon here, and he knows this racetrack. He won this race last year. It's awfully hard when he's in this field to beat him, but Johnny Sauter proved it last time we raced in Martinsville. He passed him inside of 10 laps to go and won that race, so it can be done.
And he's got a young man, Austin Dillon, that's going to start on the outside, and Austin's been extremely strong already this year.
Yeah, well, the same thing in the nationwide car. I think they're about first and second in that series, too. So, yeah, they're going to be going at each other tonight. That 3 truck's pretty stout. I wouldn't count him out.
And our starting grid will roll across the top of your screen. Again, Kyle Busch claims his 11th career pole in the Camping World Truck Series. Austin Dillon will start on his outside. That duo will bring the field to the green flag. Take a look at our royal purple track description.
We
talk about unique.
Talk about very, very unique. Is this racetrack is 1 1/3 miles, 14-degree banking in the corners. Concrete, though, all the way around. Probably the biggest concrete track in the world.
Yeah, and it's smooth. Unlike Bristol and maybe Dover, they got those expansion joints in it. Oh, those tracks, and I think bumps around a lot. Here it's real smooth. Don't get all that tire buildup.
Now let's take a look at our Royal Purple race analysis. This one going 150 laps, 200 miles.
As you can see, 36 trucks will start this race. Pit window somewhere between 60-65 laps. These guys were given an extra set of tires, DW, so most of these trucks will have the set on the truck and 3 in the pits.
Yeah, they gave them an extra set because this track hadn't been used all winter long. There wasn't any rubber in it, but right now the guys say the tires are really rubbered up the truck nice, and the track's in pretty good shape.
As the field lines up 2 by 2 and making their way around this 1 1/3 miles, we like to shine a spotlight on a few different drivers here on Speed to get to know them just a little bit better and their backgrounds. And we'll start off with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, I want to start with Clay Rogers driving the number 92 Black's Tire Service Chevrolet. When we got to Daytona this year, they were optimistic that they might be able to run 10 races. Clay Rogers finished 3rd that day and was the point leader. And believe it or not, after 4 races, they've only slipped back to 6th right now in points. So I have to tell you, these guys really want to keep going. I know for sure that they've got rooms booked for Dover, but after that point, they're not quite sure what the future will hold for the 92 team. Hermie?
Well, Ray, Bobby Hamilton Jr. is a name that is familiar to NASCAR fans, especially here in the Nashville area. He is back on the track in a Rick Ware Racing Chevrolet. Now, he usually runs well when he gets on the racetrack with these trucks, but he's making news now off the racetrack as he and Chad Chaffin have acquired the management rights to the Fairgrounds Raceway in downtown Nashville. So it'll be fun to watch how Bobby Hamilton Jr. does from his 30th starting position tonight and how he's able to maneuver NASCAR maybe back to the fairgrounds.
Hermie, I want to take a look at 18-year-old Nick Hoffman from Mooresville, North Carolina. He started back in 2006 and was the Arena Racing Rookie of the Year, as well as a national champion. Moved up to street stocks and was the Rookie of the Year in 2007. 2008, 2009, he moved to the Dirt Modifieds and won races both years. He made his Truck Series debut last year at Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis. He's driving for the Mittler brothers, who gave Jamie McMurray and Carl Edwards their start in NASCAR, and Nick will start this race in the 36 spot, DW.
Yeah, Cale Gale is an interesting story. He's in that 2 truck. That's KHI truck, one of Kevin Harvick's. We know that's a winning truck. But the interesting thing about Cale Gale, he's 26 years old from Mobile, Alabama. His mom and dad were at Talladega watching the race in 1984, and they said, whoever wins this race today, that's who we're going to name our son after. Well, I don't have to tell you who won that race that day. It was Cale Yarborough, and that's how Cale got his first name. And he's in that 2 truck, as I said. His first truck race here, but keep an eye on him tonight.
A lot of young drivers making their first Nashville start. We'll ride along with a few different drivers, one of those being the 23 of Jason White. He will start 29th on the field.
We're also going to ride along on the Funai sponsored onboard of Johnny Sauter. Johnny, our most recent winner. We've talked about in Martinsville, and then turned around on the next Monday, and his wife Courtney gave birth to another baby. So big weekend for Johnny. He's hoping to make it 2 in a row. He will start from the 9th spot.
Our buddy here, Cole Witt, a great young man, got lots and lots of talent. Just keep an eye on this kid tonight, because I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get up there and challenge for the win.
He'll have to challenge the number 18 of Kyle Busch, who carries the Toyota-sponsored onboard with him tonight. What will be the recipe for success? Well, let's find out as we look at our Walmart recipe for success, beginning with Ray.
Well, Rick, the recipe for success may be to have your owners on vacation. Tonight, Kevin and Delana Harvick are sitting somewhere in South Carolina, drinking a couple of cold Budweisers, watching the 200th race on Speed. But when we look back at what's going on tonight, they have 4 entries in this race, and that's only happened 4 times in the history of this series. I'll tell you what, they're going to be rooting them on tonight. There's no question about it. Rick?
And the pace car makes its way onto pit road. That means that Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon will bring the field through the tri-oval. The green flag goes in the air. We're underway with race number 200 here on Speed.
Justin Johnson uses that bottom of the racetrack, does not allow Austin Dillon to get down to the bottom. Austin's going to settle in third.
Boy, there's a big surprise, though. Kyle Busch jumps out to a big lead off of turn 2.
A long race, 150 laps. There's a lot that can happen from the drop of the green flag to the checker. He will lead lap number 1. As you mentioned, just behind him, Justin Johnson, Austin Dillon, Elliott Sadler, and Nelson Piquet Jr., your top 5. They're still 2 wide back here. Racing for position for second. Here comes Austin Dillon to the inside, trying to take the spot away from Justin Johnson.
Austin got a good run up off of turn number 2. He's going to beat Justin down in the corner and down into turn number 3 and take over that second spot.
Textbook pass, it looked like. They're coming off of turn number 2, making the move to the inside, and then making the guy you're racing move to the outside.
Yeah, a little give and take right now. It's early in the race. You know, guys got position on you. Don't take any chances. Don't get hung up on the outside.
That last lap, Kyle Busch ran a 30.73, 1/10 of a second off the pole, DW.
I talked to the guys down there this afternoon. They said he's in a league of his own. And it's not the Busch League either.
But it is the Kyle Busch League right now. Elliott Sadler trying to get by Justin Johnson in that number 21. Elliott Sadler making his first start in a Camping World truck race at Nashville.
Any kind of vehicle at Nashville.
Yeah, he's got a yellow bumper. I mean, I love it. It reminds me, A.J. Foyt went to Darlington. He had a yellow bumper one time.
Matt Crafton making the move on his teammate, trying to go by Johnny Sauter now.
That's a Zachary Toyota right behind them. David Starr. There's Max Pappas, the Geico Toyota, the 9 truck.
Still down there inside.
Matt Crafton again, the preferred line down on the bottom
down there
of this racetrack, right against that yellow line.
Would you believe this is the first new truck that Johnny Sauter has ever driven at Thor Sport Racing?
Pretty amazing. Cole Witt on the inside trying to take 4th away from Elliott Sadler. That's 5th position that he took away from Sadler. Just in front of him, Todd Bodine's got the 4th spot.
Justin Johnson, a great run early in that Vision Airlines Toyota in the 3rd spot.
Justin Johnson and Nelson Piquet Jr. both with their best career starts. Nelson Piquet Jr. has dropped back to the 7th position. Take a look at this.
Oh, trucks everywhere, side by side. That's Parker Kligerman, the 29 on the outside. Max Pappas, the 9 on the inside. There's James Busher, the 31 right behind. I believe that's Todd. No, that's Justin Lofton. The 77, another one of the Germaniacs. I was told they're Germaniacs, not Germanians.
Not Germanians, they're Germaniacs.
That's a gaggle right there.
Yes, it
is.
is.
You know, Phil, right now, for about the first 7 or 8, 10 laps, these trucks are a little bit evil to drive. The pressures are really low on the tires. Things are going to wobble, move around a little bit more. Then they stabilize.
We talked about this being a concrete surface where the temperature won't fluctuate a lot with it because it doesn't take a lot of heat. That way it won't hold a lot of heat. So we're not going to see a big change, but with the sun going down, there will be a change on this track.
Yeah, I mean, anytime the ambient temperature drops, performance picks up. The truck's going to run better. The tires are going to hold better. So I don't care what surface you're on, when the ambient temperature goes down, you're going to get better performance.
Look at that South Point Toyota, the black and yellow number 62. We know how much Brendan Gaughan likes the outside. Looks like he's got that outside groove working for him, DW.
Well, that was something that the guys were really worried about. Is there going to be 2 grooves tonight? Can we make a pass on the outside? Brendan says, follow me, boys. Follow me in Tennessee.
His teammate about went up into him. There, Justin Lofton was catching that truck as Brendan Gaughan went by.
Brendan had to give him a little bit extra room.
If you can get out there and go, man, you can pass a lot of cars or a lot of trucks because nobody wants to run out there.
Battle for 3rd. Justin Johnson has it. Bodine took it away. Bodine now up to the 3rd spot. Justin Johnson back to 4th.
Or Wood holds down that 5th spot in the Red Bull truck.
See, Kyle Busch now has a 1.6 second lead on second place Austin Dillon as the teammates continue to battle for the 10th spot. Crafton had it. Now Johnny Sauter takes it back.
It may have taken Johnny Sauter's truck a few more laps to get going. Again, brand new truck. They don't have a history with this truck.
Yeah, that's your first and second in points right there. Two teammates.
Clear by 2.
Great organization. You know, the Thor Sport, I heard that maybe someday they'd like to go cup racing. If they can ever, conquer the Truck Series, might move up.
Where they're laying the groundwork for that here in the Camping World Truck Series and doing a fine job. Elliott Sadler just in front of Nelson Piquet Jr.
Remember, these two trucks right here are teammates out of the KHI stable.
KHI with 4 entries in this race, and that is a record for them.
And that's 3 of them. Ron Hornaday jumps to the outside of Piquet.
On your screen now as Hornaday takes the spot away from Nelson Piquet Jr. Bringing Timothy Peters in the 17. Timothy's going to try to get by that 8 as well. Out in front of this field, it's Kyle Busch. He has led all 10 laps complete at Nashville Superspeedway. Austin Dillon, Todd Bodine, Justin Johnson, and Cole Witt. They are your top 5. Kyle Busch trying to go back-to-back with wins here at Nashville Superspeedway. Does anybody have anything for him? The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World's Grill Fest, May 9th through the 11th. Check out Camping World's complete set of grills, chairs, and all your outdoor enjoyment needs. By the new 2011 Ford F-150, built Ford tough. And by Liquifeed. Give your plants the perfect balance of water and nutrients to grow twice as big with Liquifeed from Miracle Grow. On lap number 18, it has been all Kyle Busch here at Nashville Superspeedway. Welcome back to the 200th Camping World Truck Series broadcast on Speed.
That last lap, Kyle Busch was a full 0.2 of a second faster than any other truck on the racetrack.
Now, I did hear of, but it was when the trucks first hit the track, there was a little bit of tire wear issue. That normally goes away, so I don't expect that to be a problem tonight.
This is side-by-side for 15. Parker Quickerman on the inside. Brendan Gaughan on the outside, the South Point number 62.
Brendan's made a nice move up from his 22nd starting position.
Trying to get by.
He's a Germaniac.
He is a Germaniac as well. These two continue to try to settle the battle for 15.
See all that black on the racetrack. Darrell was talking about it earlier. This racetrack is really taking that rubber. There's a lot of times when you come as Timothy Peters moves under Elliott Sadler for the 7th position, a lot of times it looks like dust. But this racetrack's really taking the rubber.
Yeah, it has. That dust is what you don't want to see, because that means the tires are not putting any into the track. But you can see the dark groove it has developed. That's good news for everybody.
Nelson Piquet Jr. coming up behind that 21 of Elliott Sadler.
I think KHI is using this race with Elliott Sadler's truck as a little bit of a test. They're trying to test some things that will help their nationwide situation. Elliott running for the championship for KHI in the nationwide series. So they're testing some of the stuff that they may employ tomorrow night in the nationwide race. Tomorrow afternoon, actually. Ray, tell us a little bit more about KHI.
Well, Phil, as I was saying at the top of the show with 4 trucks in here, you and Darrell know a lot about being owners. Can you imagine tonight in the Truck Series garage, they have 61 employees here for KHI, and then you add in the nationwide group, probably another 30 over there. So add that up where hotel rooms and flights and all that. And no wonder Kevin and Delana needed a vacation tonight. A big investment in this race tonight. So far, the 21 a little bit tight off. Nelson Piquet reporting the exact same thing. And for more, let's go to the other end of the garage in Hermie.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. Ron Hornaday qualified 8th, and he's up to 6th right now. He's just riding along in that position. His truck is pretty good, like the other KHI trucks. A little bit of a tight condition right now on the racetrack, but Ron has not said a word on the radio, just doing everything he can to save the right front of this truck until they can get to pit road and free it up a little bit on the first stop.
I don't think I've had 61 employees in all the race teams I've owned over the years.
I just want to tell you right now, I've made my small fortune in racing.
You start with a big one?
Yeah, I started with a pretty good one.
Last year, the Camping World Truck Series decided to come to Nashville 2 times. The first race was won by Kyle Busch. The second time we came back, it was Todd Bodine. Right now, Busch is in first, Bodine in third. Stay informed with the latest trucks updates right from the track. Find video highlights, expert analysis, driver blogs, and photo galleries. Get more at speed.com in the NASCAR section.
You know, the sun's going down, as it's about said, and the lights have come up. And that transition, the racetrack, there's particularly white concrete like this, it's like you reached over and turned the contrast all the way up on your TV. This changes the appearance of the track. The perception of the track is so different once the lights come up.
6th and 7th here. Justin Johnson falls back behind Timothy Peters now. Out front, it's Kyle Busch, Todd Bodine, Austin Dillon, Ron Hornaday, and Cole Witt. They are your top 5. And you see it's starting to bottle up back here.
Yeah, these lead lap trucks, 6 on back from Timothy Peters, mixed in with some lap down trucks.
Cole Witt doing a pretty nice job there, running in 5th place. Stacey Compton, he's doing a really nice job with that team, and Cole Witt is, I'm telling you, he's going to be a hot driver on that, wherever he goes.
Well, hey, DW, while we were away at break, Cole Witt had a little bit of an issue here as he drove up to the back of the 51 of Justin Johnson. Watch this now.
Trying to get under him here.
Well, see, the 51 gets a little sideways, and then Cole gets sideways, both of them there.
A little bit of the air, a little bit of air movement right there, moved both those trucks around.
Watch this from the onboard. Watch the 51. And you can hear the tires squealing on the 60 truck of Cole Witt.
I don't know if that was the tires or him.
Things happen fast.
Things start moving around like that. You do a little squealing yourself.
Todd Bodine has taken second away from Austin Dillon. He is 1.2 seconds behind Kyle Busch.
There's a battle for position right there. The 21 of Elliott Sadler gets underneath that 51 of Justin Johnson. Elliott takes over the 8th spot.
Nelson Piquet Jr. just in front of him in 7th.
You know, Justin said he talked to Kyle Busch before he qualified and got a great qualifying lap. But he'd probably like to stop right now. Time out. I need to talk to Kyle Busch a minute. These guys are coming from everywhere.
It's not like Talladega. He can't switch over to frequency, Kenny, on the radio.
Not tonight.
Kyle Busch, when he won here a year ago, he led the first 76 laps of this race, and then overall led 102 of the 150 laps. You see the gap from Kyle Busch to second, which is Todd Bodine now. He's closing the gap. It was 1.22 seconds. We'll see if that gap closes now as he's working around the slower lap traffic.
Todd was 2.5 seconds behind when he was running in the 3rd position behind Austin Dillon. So Todd has clipped a little bit over a second off. Now that lap, he was about 1/10 of a second faster than Kyle. Kyle obviously had to negotiate the one truck of Bobby Jr.
Yeah, there was some traffic involved in there. That allowed Todd to close up on the back of Kyle a little bit here. But Todd's got a great truck. They're running very similar lap times right now.
Let's do a top 10 drop back as the field is starting to spread out. Ray Dunlap, tell us a little bit about Kyle Busch.
You know, Rick, whenever we first started talking about KBM, Kyle, every time we interviewed him, would say, "Oh, I can't believe how much money we're spending." Well, guess what? They've gotten their money out of the truck he's driving tonight. This is chassis number 4, and it already has 5 wins. Kyle loves this truck. He says it responds better to adjustments than anything in their stable. In second place right now, you see Todd Bodine. He's moved up from 3rd to 2nd. And Todd told us in the qualifying session early today that he learned something in the last minutes of practice that really will help them on a long run. We'll see if he's able to close in on Kyle Busch. In 3rd place right now, Austin Dillon. And Austin has said he's good at one end of the racetrack, but not the other. Crew chief said, which one? He said it keeps changing over and over. Hermie?
Well, Ray, Ron Hornaday has made a pretty good run on these first 35 laps. He qualified 8, and he's up to 4th. Not saying a lot about the truck right now, other than his spotter, Rick Corelli, talking about his lines on the racetrack and maximizing all the space, especially off turn 4. So far, so good for Ron Hornaday. Cole Witt, you've heard DW talking about him, a lot of talent. He qualified 6th, and he's settled in right there in the top 5. Again, not saying much about his truck, but fighting a little bit of a tight condition, especially off turn 2. Ray?
Running in 6th is Timothy Peters, and I'll tell you this, Hermie, there's no question which end of the racetrack's good for him. He loves 3 and 4, said he can drop it right down to the line, and in practice he said he loved the drivability of this truck. but they're not having a very good entry into turn number 1. So Peters is trying some different lines to work it out, and obviously this racetrack will change as we go into darkness. Running in 7th right behind him, Nelson Piquet Jr. in the number 8 truck. He qualified 4th tonight, and I asked him at driver introductions, were you surprised by that? He said a little bit, because my first lap was not good at all, but he said I knew we had a really good truck. Hermie, your brother's in 8th. What's he having to say on the radio?
Well, Ray, he had a good qualifying run, qualified in the top 5. I talked to him after qualifying, and he said, we got a good lap in, but my truck is not balanced exactly right. He was too loose in qualifying, and now he's back on the other side of that, fighting a tight condition on the racetrack right now. They're trying to hold their own on the racetrack, maintain their track position, and get ready to get to pit road and try to free that truck up, Ray.
If you were watching our qualifying session earlier today, you heard Justin Johnson say he learned a lot about Nashville Speedway by talking to Kyle Busch before we went to qualifying today. Busch had a great run, and so did Johnson, who started in the top 5. They said, keep an eye on Kyle. He said, my only problem right now is I can't even see him on the racetrack. Hermie?
Well, Ray, the most vocal, unhappy driver on the racetrack so far has been Johnny Sauter. He qualified 9th. He is currently sitting in 10th, but his race truck is very, very loose, and he's let his crew know about it. He cannot get back to the throttle coming off the corners. Not happy with his way, the way his truck is driving. He's looking for a track bar adjustment from his crew chief when he comes to pit road. Rick.
Thanks, guys. Great job. There are 4 previous winners in this race that have won here at this racetrack. 3 of them are running in the top 4, and the 4th is about to go a lap down, or just went a lap down. Travis Kvapil, amazingly enough, a winner at this racetrack, just went a lap down.
Well, they got a little bit of a race going on right here. I can tell you that these guys are going to see if you can actually run side by side.
3 wide?
Maybe even 3 wide. And hold on a minute, here comes some more.
Shall we try 4 wide at Nashville?
You have the lap truck in the middle, the 99 of Chase Mattioli. Every one of these other trucks is racing for position.
The thing is, this racetrack, historically, you're loose into the corner. You really have tight entry into turn 1 particularly. Then the thing wants to push. Once you get back in the gas, wants to push up off the corner. Does that real bad off of 2 and 4. So loose in, tight off is what you fight here.
You know, guys, we've completed 41 laps. We're about 2/3 of the way towards that first pit stop, and I'm sure there are a lot of crew chiefs down there trying to figure out what they're going to change on these trucks to try to catch up to those first 2 or 3 trucks. Right now, Top 09 is able to maintain and run along inside of a second off of Kyle Busch.
People always say loose in and tight off, so what does that mean? The back end's loose. The back end's trying to get in front of the ahead of the front end. Pushing means you got the wheels turned to the left and it won't turn.
You always hear loose is fast. Well, right now, Kyle Busch is fast, but Todd Bodine has closed the gap. He's under a second behind Kyle Busch. Can he catch him? Stay with us. Wednesday, it's an extreme 36-hour build-off on an all-new Car Warriors. The All-Stars clash with a team from South Central L.A., and as both teams push to build the ultimate cop car, a brawl breaks out. You don't want to miss an all-new Car Warriors Wednesday at 9 Eastern right here on Speed.
We're just
Take a
about
look
to have
at the
to
gap
we're
here.
going to have a brawl for the lead right here. Top 09 has caught Kyle Busch.
It's getting tight up front. Kyle Busch has less than a half a second lead on Todd Bodine. He's been just whittling away at that lead.
Look at these 2 different lines they run down here, 1 and 2. Kyle right around the bottom, but Todd has found some speed up a little higher. He gets a really nice run up off his corner, gets a lot of momentum down that back straightaway, and really closes fast at the end of the back straightaway on Kyle Busch.
Looks like he gets those right sides up where there's not really that much black and gets a little bit better grip up there.
It's really helping him down the back straightaway. They run about the same line in 3 and 4, but when they get to 1 and 2, totally different.
Cole Witt gives up the 5th spot to come down pit road. This may be a tick early. I was talking to Marcus Richmond, his crew chief. He said we're not getting that great of fuel mileage, so this is probably scheduled for them, Ray.
It was scheduled, Phil, but also he came on the radio just a moment ago and said a slight vibration in the right front. Marcus said, don't take a chance. Let's get in here and check it.
DW, we talked about at the beginning of the show, how do you get by Kyle Busch? He's so good. Well, is this pit strategy? Guys doing maybe short pitting right now to see if they can catch a break.
Well, what usually, the reason you start short pitting is like as soon as you get lapped, you might as well pit. That's first of all. Second of all, you never know. You might put a little pressure on those front runners and make them do something they weren't planning on too. So it just depends. It works out for you sometimes.
And now with the wave around, if the caution flag were to come out and everyone comes down pit road, you can do the wave around because you know everyone else that hasn't pitted is going to come to pit road.
Kyle Busch out in front of Todd Bodine. Austin Dillon's dropped back to the 3rd spot. Hornaday running 4th. Timothy Peters is running 5th. I mentioned that Jason White had come to pit road. Hermie, what happened? Sorry, we'll get back to Hermie in just a moment. Austin Dillon now making his way onto pit road. Also seeing Hornaday making his stop.
Austin had a lot of traffic coming in on pit road, Hermie.
Yeah, Ron Hornaday coming down. He is fighting a tight condition. He wanted to stay in a few more laps to let some of these other guys get on pit road first. Right now, it's an air pressure adjustment only in 4 tires for Ron Hornaday, Ray.
Austin Dillon came on the radio about 7 laps ago and said it's getting a little tight. Then he said it's a lot tighter. The last lap, he said it's driving straight into the corner in turn number 1. It's 4 tires and fuel on lap 53 for the 3 team.
So green flag pit stops taking place now. Dillon was running in the 3rd spot. He gave that up to come onto pit road. Busch, Bodine, Nelson Piquet Jr., Justin Johnson, Johnny Sauter, your top 5. They're still on the racetrack.
Boy, I tell you, see, coming on the pit road here is so treacherous. These guys are just barely making it.
Here comes your race leader. Kyle Busch has decided to come onto pit road, right?
And we're looking at Timothy Peters on the left. They're going to make a big swing to try to free him up. Air pressure adjustment, 4 tires and fuel, and he'll get out just in front of Kyle Busch. They crisscross as the Dollar General Toyota gets in. Kyle hits it right on the marks. The crew goes around. They're doing right side tires. You can see fuel going in. They're working on this thing. Kyle changes gears. They come around, and as he's going to do that, the yellow is going to come out.
Miguel
Did the yellow come out, guys?
Yeah, Miguel Paludo spun coming onto pit road. They're still waiting to put the yellow out. It's still green flag.
No yellow.
They have not cleared yellow out. Miguel Paludo slid trying to get onto pit road. DW talked about it earlier, a difficult pit road to get onto. There's damage to that truck. He spun right in front of the 30 of Todd Bodine as Bodine was coming onto pit road.
Yeah, it was a big, 3 of them trying to get down there at one time, and there was such a disparity in speed that they ran over each other.
It looks like a little damage to the front of that truck, Ray.
Absolutely, Rick. And Todd just came on and said, I love the way the Highline's doing it. They said, take a look at the front, 4 tires and an air pressure adjustment for Todd. He really likes the way it's working off the corner. And you see the 13 is in also, Hermie.
Yeah, Johnny Sauter on pit road, 4 tires, fuel. They're dropping the track bar on the 13, Ray. He's been very loose since they dropped the green flag.
Let's take another look at what just happened. Getting onto pit road, the 7 of Miguel Paludo. It's a hard left turn coming off of turn 4, and there's also a transition from the banking onto the flatter pit road surface.
Here's Timothy Peters. They take a tear off. He leaves pit road. Watch this
now.
Gas can. And I think the gas man grabbed that can at the last second and did not allow it to go over the line.
Yeah, but here's where the trouble started. That's a hard lick there that Todd got into the back of the Miguel. 7 truck right there, Miguel. And
that was Bodine making that contact and made the 7 go around.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if Todd was going to pit that time, but he got down there and the 7 got in his way.
Watch the same situation, James Busher, and that can stops just prior to the yellow line. If that can slides across the line, they would bring that truck back in the pit for equipment leaving their pit area.
That gas man was committed. He was going to go with that gas can if it stayed in the side of that truck. That was great.
Jamie Dick in the 0-2. Just in front of the 18 of Kyle Busch, and the caution will come out. We have debris on the racetrack. It's on the backstretch. So the first caution comes out after most of the drivers had green flag pit stops.
I think Justin Johnson, as you can see the debris coming off turn number 2, I think Justin Johnson has not made his pit stop yet, so he's being shown as our leader.
Justin Johnson in front of Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, Todd Bodine, Hornaday, your top 5. Again, a little bit of damage to the front of that 30 of Todd Bodine.
I think Justin Johnson was on pit road when the caution came out. He was being shown as our leader on the scoring monitor, but he was on pit road. when he crossed the start-finish line on pit road, he was still shown as the leader.
There is the damage to the right front of the 30 of Todd Bodine. Again, he got into the back of the 7 of Miguel Paludo as Miguel was trying to get on pit road.
Now you got this bear bond now that's got metal in it. They slap that on there, it'll be as good as new.
Another look. Bodine in the 30. Just couldn't slow down in time. Catches the back of the 7.
Yeah, you try to get all you can get in the pit road. Unfortunately, I think Todd tried to get too much that time.
Welcome back to the Bully Hill Vineyards 200 here on Speed, your Motorsports Authority. Our first caution came out for debris on the backstretch, and it could have come off the 7 of Miguel Paludo. They are working on the 30 right now. This is what they did while we were just away at break.
You know, DW, we were talking about how that thing would be good as new. I didn't realize that they were going to put a whole section of a nose on that thing, and the thing indeed is going to be just as good as new, I think.
No, it's going to be better. It's going to be better than it was.
This is why that damage was caused here. The 7 had committed to come into pit road. I think Todd was coming as well. Todd got in there a little bit too hot.
Too fast.
And it just ran into the back of the 7 of Miguel Paludo.
Yep.
Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 9 of Max Pappas. So Pappas will go back on the lead lap. That will put 17 on the lead lap here when we restart.
It's Camping World's Destination Recreation.
Today, one of my biggest dilemmas is to decide whether or not I want to put pork chops, brats, or burgers on the grill. Now, grilling is a summer institution, and if you come to Camping World, look at all these choices you have. They have every size and shape, but here's what I want you to consider. Even if you're just having a backyard barbecue or going on a road trip, the Coleman Road Trip Sport is a great grill. It's driven by propane, but what I love is it gives you that flame up through, drip down sort of a taste. And this isn't a one-piece porcelain grill, and once you get done grilling, you just give it to your mother-in-law and tell her to clean it right up. What's beautiful about this unit is it comes with a stand and it has wheels, so it's ultra portable. Now, the most important thing for you right now is to get out your calendar and write down May 9th through the 11th, because that's Grill Fest right here at Camping World. All you got to do is get your tools and get out there and grill, baby, grill.
Wise words of wisdom from
Ray
Dunlap.
Get you a little cake to go with that, too, while you at it.
The NASCAR Nationwide Series 250 on Speed. That is 1 week from today, 7:30 p.m. from Richmond International Raceway. That is going to be a great race right here on Speed, and the field back in line, and it looks like the start of this race. Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, green flag back in the air.
How about Ron Hornaday? He's going to jump up right behind that 18 of Kyle Busch. Looks to the inside.
Man, you better not do that.
Austin Dillon dropping back 3 wide, and he's on the outside. Cole in the middle.
Boy, that makes me think he either spun the tires at 3 did or else missed a shift, because he had terrible restart.
Look at him, 4 and 5 wide.
Bunched up back behind this lead group. Again, Kyle Busch with a great restart. He jumps out to the front. Ron Hornaday right in behind him. Elliott Sadler runs third. Austin Dillon dropped back quite a few spots. Now trying to battle back for that 4th position with Cole Witt on the inside.
These engines with about 690, 700 horsepower, DW. If you spin the tires and lose momentum, it takes so long to get it back.
Yeah, it does. And I think something like that must have happened to the 3 truck of Dillon, because, man, he just didn't go at all.
Here comes Justin Johnson in that 51, trying to take the spot away from Cole Witt in the 60.
Well, Justin's truck is really good on the starts. Look at this, 3 wide back here. Brendan's in the middle.
Parker Kligerman on the bottom of the racetrack in the 29. Nelson Piquet Jr. in the 8 on the outside. They stayed 3 wide through the trial and into turn number 1.
I believe if that upper groove keeps coming in like it looks like it's trying to, keep an eye on that 62 truck. He loves that high line.
Teammates again side by side. Sauter on the outside, Crafton on the inside. Sauter has the spot. Piquet is going to try to drive by on the outside of Crafton.
Nelson Piquet Jr. on the outside. You see him just over the spoiler.
Everybody's Superman right now. You got the brand new Mr. Feelgoods on there, and you can go to town for a little while.
Johnny Sauter trying to make up ground. Didn't feel like the truck was handling to his liking early in this race. As we're closing in on the halfway point, we completed 66 laps of the 150.
We talked about it earlier, I think, during qualifying, as we see Nelson Piquet duck down trying to get underneath Johnny Sauter, one of Johnny's sponsors, Curb Records. There's 500th NASCAR event here tonight.
Mike Curb was here celebrating that start. Battle for the third position. Austin Dillon takes the position away from Sadler. So after having a bad restart, Austin Dillon is now having to work his way back up to that second position that he restarted in.
I was talking about Elliott's yellow bumper here, you know, and I mentioned A.J. Foyt at Darlington. Kenny Schrader texted me and said, I was one of the ones that was judging A.J.'s driving that day.
What are you going to tell A.J.? Hey, you need to do this, A.J. You're not quite ready for Darlington, right?
He just barely passed.
Kyle Busch, Ron Hornaday, Austin Dillon, Elliott Sadler, Cole Witt. They're your top 5. And Justin Johnson, James Buescher, Johnny Sauter, Nelson Piquet Jr., and Matt Crafton, your top 10. Just behind them, you see the battle going on between Parker Kligerman and the 62. That's Brendan Gaughan that slid back behind the 22 now.
Here's a guy that's in trouble, the guy up there on the left of your screen, Todd Bodine. After that accident getting on pit road, that truck is junk. He is going backward in a hurry.
It looked like he was going to be just fine with the repairs they made. Ray, what's going on?
Well, their biggest concern, Phil, was not getting the headlight fixed and the bear bond on it. Their concern is, as Todd came down off the racetrack after that contact, it made the right front splitter raise up. And it's not something you can really work on, or you can't just jump up and down on it and try to adjust it, or you'll break it off. So it is sticking up in the air a little bit, and that is changing the handling really badly for Todd right now. Let's go to the other end of pit road and check in with Hermie.
Yeah, Ray, on this last caution, not a lot of activity on pit road except for a couple of vehicles. Number 31, James Buescher, came down, no adjustments, fuel only, and the 29 of Parker Kligerman actually came down pit road twice on the last caution to top off with fuel and a track bar adjustment. The only two trucks that came in on my end of pit road.
You know, these guys haven't settled it yet. Parker Kligerman on the inside, Brendan Gaughan on the outside. Gaughan had the position. Now Parker Kligerman's taking it back.
They've been racing since the drop of the green flag, it seems like.
Brendan he's an aggressive driver. You know, to the point where sometimes he gets himself in trouble. And right now, he doesn't like the fact that he got passed.
He gets a nice run through the center of the corner.
Moves back up the racetrack, takes a different line around this track, trying to keep the momentum up as we ride along with Jason White and see that battle just in front of us.
And that battle right there, that truck in front of Jason is Craig Ghost, and that is a battle to be the first truck not on the lead lap. So if the caution flag were to come out right now, that truck in front of Jason White, Craig Ghost, would get the Aaron's lucky dog.
Since the drop of the green flag, Kyle Busch has separated himself from the pack by 1 second over Ron Hornaday as these two continue to battle for the 11th spot. Kligerman, Gaughan now on the outside of Kligerman, takes a spot, but here comes Kligerman once again on the bottom of the track.
They just can't figure out who wants to be in front, can they?
Well, they're giving each other plenty of room, though, right now.
I'm sure you would ask either one of these at the end of the race, and they'd say, I had a lot of fun out there tonight. There was a lot of passing.
There was.
So Kligerman continues to run the bottom of the racetrack. Gaughan trying to find some traction, a groove up the racetrack, and it looks as though he'll make the pass and take 11th away from Kligerman. Kyle Busch has been out front for 69 laps of this race. There's only been 2 others that have led the field, the 30 of Todd Bodine and the 51 of Justin Johnson. But once again, it's Kyle Busch setting the pace. He has a 1.1 second lead over Hornaday. Second caution has just come out here at Nashville Super Speedway on lap 76, just as we had passed the halfway point. The 32 having problems. Brad Sweet, you see the damage to the right front of that truck. The smoke coming out before he actually had that damage. So a little bit of right front problem.
I think he may have scraped the wall, and that may have caught that right front tire down, and that's when we saw the result of that.
Yeah, just looking at the truck, I mean, I don't think he cut the tire down when it nose first.
We had a few trucks make their way onto pit road. Hermie?
Yeah, Ray, Rick, Johnny Sauter came to pit road. Here's how he described his truck. plowing. But after that, he said, raise the track ball 1 round, so his truck is not all that bad. And also right now, Ricky Carmichael, the Ford truck, is on pit road for 4 tires and a air pressure adjustment. Ray?
Hermie, down at my end, they did continue to work on Todd Bodine's Germain.com Toyota. They tried to get that right front splitter bar adjusted and get it down a little bit. They had to be very careful not to break it off. But guys in the booth, here's my question. Last time Kyle Busch was in here was lap 54. Bodine just came down pit road at 76, and they put fuel in it. Any chance that could play the difference in tonight's race?
Yeah, sure it could, and we had several other trucks as well that came down pit road on lap number 76, so it's about 22 extra laps of fuel.
How do you get by Kyle Busch? You outlast him with fuel. That might be the strategy tonight here at Nashville. Stay with us. Welcome back to Nashville Super Speedway. It is race number 200 here on Speed. We're celebrating that as we're watching Kyle Busch put on a pretty dominant performance early on. The Aaron's lucky dog goes to Craig Gose, so he will be the 18th truck on the lead lap.
Remember, we showed Jason White in that truck in front of him, Craig Gose. That was a battle for the lucky dog. Caution came out. Craig got that lap back.
This time it's Kyle Busch on the inside, Hornaday on the outside. Green flag back in the air. What can Hornaday do with him this time?
Looks like Austin gets a lot better start.
Yes, sir. He didn't. I don't know whatever happened on the last one, but he didn't have that problem this time.
Side by side with the 21 of Elliott Sadler.
Just behind him, Cole Witt and Justin Johnson.
An impressive performance so far by Justin Johnson.
It really has, and that 51 truck seems to be good on new tires. He's really fast for a number of laps. Fades a little before the time to pit, but really good on new tires.
Cole Witt's going to jump to the inside of him as they exit turn number 4.
They stay side by side. Here comes Nelson Piquet Jr. making the pass on the outside. He gets by Cole Witt as they go through the tribal and across the stripe.
Another impressive performance by Nelson Piquet Jr. We talked to him during the qualifying show, and he said, I really felt like when we got to a faster racetrack, we would be better after running Darlington and Martinsville and Phoenix.
Got a little bit more wide open here, you know, not so confined like you are at Darlington, Martinsville, some of those tighter tracks. So you got a little more room to work here.
You're tight. It's tight between teammates right now. The 88 of Matt Crafton and the 13 of Johnny Sauter. Those two are teammates.
Seems like they've been locked together since the start of this race.
Reaching out and touching each other. Yikes!
Very hard and very close. To the outside goes Brendan Gaughan in the 62. He tries to pass them both.
We talk about Brendan and how much he loves that outside line.
Gets by both of them, and Brendan Gaughan takes the position away.
Moves up into the top 10.
Matt Crafton is able to get in front of that 13.
Yeah, they need to separate there. They're going to get themselves in trouble running that close together.
Justin Lofton and Timothy Peters running side by side now. Now it's going to be 3 wide.
Tight.
Pappas. Little contact from David Starr, and up the racetrack Max Pappas goes. There's still 3 wide. Here comes Ricky Carmichael through the middle.
I'm not sure that Max Pappas knew that they were 3 wide. He took a normal line down in the corner like they were only side by side. There wasn't room.
Max Pappas still trying to get his bearings right now. He came down and hit Craig Gose in the 46. Todd Bodine still trying to figure out how to keep that truck going the right direction with the damage to the front end.
Yeah, that thing's really evil in traffic with that splitter up in the air the way it is. It's getting a lot of air on the nose. It's causing Todd a lot of problems.
It's Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 1 falling back. You see now Matt Crafton trying to pass back Brendan Gaughan. Gaughan stays on the high side. Crafton takes the position down on the bottom of the racetrack. So that's for 10th. Crafton will take the 10th spot back from Gaughan.
We saw that situation that Max Pappas made contact with another truck on the inside of him. There's Max right there, the 9 Geico Toyota.
Shane Segan, the 93.
Let's go back and look at what happened to Max. Here they are. Outside of 3 wide, I don't think Max realized that they were 3 wide. He comes down to make his normal line. David Starr, the 81 Zachary truck, was there. Travis Quapple on the inside. They made a slight bit of contact, but a nice save by Max.
No, Max did a really nice job right there and the track's in pretty good shape because you don't sell that dust and dirt flying up like we do a lot of times. So there is some grip for these guys to be able to do what they're doing here.
This is Jason White's gun broker on board. Watch this now. There's the contact.
Whoa.
Up the racetrack went Max Pappas.
And they were 3 wide behind him as well.
So Max Pappas has dropped back to the 18th spot now. Side by side for position once again. Brendan Gaughan on the outside of Johnny Sauter. So Sauter trying to take that position back that Gaughan was able to pass when he passed the teammates as they were running side by side.
Brendan gets such a good run through the center of the corner. He's got Timothy Peters, the 17 truck, right behind them. Remember, Timothy's one of those guys that came down pit road, as well as the 62 of Brendan Gaughan and the 88 of Matt Crafton.
It's so tempting to run up high like that because nobody wants to run up there. So you got a lot of room. You got your own little groove. You got your own little area, but you lose a lot of time. You make it up a little on exit, but you lose so much going in and through the center.
Hermie Sadler.
Yeah, you guys are watching the 13 and the 88 teammates battling on the racetrack, but they are together when it comes to both being on pit road at lap 76. Now, Joe Shear told Johnny Sauter once the race went back to green, he says we are about 7 laps short from being able to stop one more time and make it to the end. So if this thing goes green, that extra fuel could be a big advantage for these guys that came to pit road.
It's been 34 laps since Kyle Busch was on pit road, 36 laps since Hornaday and Austin Dillon, so they're only about 25 laps from another green flag pit stop potentially.
But I think if you're planning that far ahead, you can start thinking about that as a driver and say, okay, I need to save a little here, save a little there. You'd just be surprised how you can stretch that fuel out when you know you need to do that.
Kyle Busch has led 84 of the 88 laps. He continues to add to his numbers of laps led, not only in the Truck Series, but all of NASCAR. He is closing in on 20,000 laps led in NASCAR. That is an unbelievable mark, but he's trying to stay in front of Ron Hornaday, who's currently running second in this race. Can he do it? Hornaday still running second behind Kyle Busch. Next Friday night, get a special pre-race edition of Trackside before the Nationwide Series race on Speed. This promises to be a pre-race party like no other. The special edition of NASCAR Trackside from Richmond begins next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed, your motorsports authority. And again, the Nationwide Series race right here on Speed, right after Trackside next week. Battle now for position. Elliott Sadler on the outside. Cole Witt making the move. He'll take 4th away from Elliott Sadler. Cole Witt moving to the front.
19-year-old Cole Witt, very, very impressive in that Red Bull Chevrolet for Stacy Compton's Turn 1 Racing. I'm telling you, Nelson Piquet Jr. is doing a real nice job. He pulls up to the rear tailgate of Elliott Sadler, his teammate, one of his teammates at KHI.
You know, Nelson Piquet Jr. sounded like he had a lot of confidence going into this race tonight. Talking about, like the racetrack, like the open spaces of this kind of facility, and he's doing a nice job. He's fast.
And really only ran high-speed racetracks last year when he got his feet wet a little bit here in NASCAR.
Well, Kyle just ran a 31:33, and last time by, Nelson ran a 31:24. So he's actually the quickest truck on the track right now.
And he takes the spot away from Elliott Sadler, so Nelson Piquet Jr. moves up into the top 5. Again, after a career best start earlier today when he started in the 4th position.
See Brad Sweet pull to the inside of Shane Sieg in a 93 truck. You should see, while we're away commercial break, you should see the move that Brad Sweet, here he is racing with Ryan Sieg right there. They make contact. Brad turns it completely sideways, drives down the apron, and saves that truck.
That's amazing. It looked like last week at Talladega a couple of times that these things have got enough side force in them that you can get them that far out of shape and catch them and get them back going again without wrecking.
We talk about Brad Sweet and the fact that he runs for Casey Kane, who runs dirt, and it's amazing how much car control these guys that come from the dirt car ranks have.
Saw it last week with Dave Blaney. We saw it with Ryan Newman. Those guys that race on dirt, they're used to spinning them out about half sideways.
Well, Kyle Busch is still out front of Ron Hornaday. He has a 2-second lead now over the 33. Hermie?
Yeah, but you need to keep an eye out for Ron Hornaday. They're talking about some debris on the grill of that truck. The water temperature climbing up around and above 250 degrees. They've been trying to get up behind maybe a lap truck and turn the fan off and on, trying to get that debris to get off the nose of that truck. So we'll see if that makes him pit a little bit quicker than he wanted to. But right now, a little bit of debris on the nose, Ray.
And Hermie, we just saw lap 100 go up on the board. I expect Kyle Busch to come to pit road around 114 or 115. If this thing stays under green, from my calculations, he would need to get down pit road to get gas there. And as we said, a number of other drivers took advantage of later pits. We'll see if that could play into the factor of this race, but I'm thinking 114, we'll see the 18 peel off the racetrack.
We've just completed lap 100. We have 50 laps of racing to go.
I don't see anything on the grill at 33. It looks pretty clean to me. A lot of tape on the grill, but I don't see any debris.
How about this? Todd Bodine had led 2 laps in this race, and now he is about to go a lap down.
But look at the difference in the attitude of Kyle's truck here on the inside and Todd's on the outside. Todd's splitter stuck up in the air on the right front there, taking a lot of air up on the front of that truck.
Great battle for 10th on the right side of your screen. That's Crafton on the outside, Johnny Sauter on the inside, and the caution comes out for debris. We have some debris in turn number 2. It's the 3rd caution of the night.
That'll be a huge break for Todd Bodine. He will get the Aaron's Lucky Dogs, give that team an opportunity to come back down pit road and work on that truck some more.
And a huge break for Kyle Busch, because it was closing in on the number of laps that he had left before he had to come for fuel.
And Ron Hornaday and Austin Dillon and Cole Witt and Nelson BK Jr. and Elliott Sadler. All those guys, it's a huge break for.
All the way down to 9th. Parker Kligerman, James Busch are running in that 9th spot. Justin Johnson is 7th. All of those drivers had come in at lap 59 or before.
Phil, if I'm in that 30 truck, I'm going to get on that splitter and jump up and down and hope it'll go back down.
If I break it, so be it.
Yeah, it's not going to. I'm not doing any good the way I am. I got to do something.
We know that these guys can make it the rest of the way. We've already completed 102 laps with 48 laps to go. Everyone will be in their window now. This should be the last time they will have to come to pit road.
We go down trackside and Hermie Sadler.
Ron Hornaday will be coming to pit road to Jeff Hensley and crew. Jeff Hensley recommended a wedge adjustment to the right rear of this truck to get it on the left front. Ron Hornaday called it off and said, no, give me 4 tires. I can see that 18. I'll catch him next run, right?
Remember, Austin Dillon was saying his truck wanted to go straight to the corners late in the run. Well, it's still tied off, so they're going to make air pressure adjustments for sure on the Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. Cole Witt had said, you guys want to consider getting 2 tires? They said, no, we're going to need 4 to make the long run. At the very front of the pit road, you'll see Kyle Busch there. Kyle was telling him, we want to make an air pressure adjustment. They'll go down 1 pound on the right sides, and Timothy Peters will be the first one off pit road. Kyle Busch rolls out second.
You know, it's right at the line, Ray, and I think it's still going to go to Kyle Busch as far as he's going to hold on to that top spot for the restart. We take a closer look at the race off. Again, it's the white line just in front of Kyle Busch's stall. Look at how close that was.
It looks about how the margin of victory from the Cup race at Talladega last week.
That's a tie right there. I don't care what they say.
So the race off pit road looks like it's going to go to, well, the 17. We'll be right back. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. Live forward. Brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. And by AT&T. Todd Bodine gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog. So that will put him back on the lead lap, and a lot of work being done to that truck during this break.
This team all through the years has been very, very good at being able to work on that truck and make it better. More cosmetic that time than anything.
Kyle Busch was scored as the winner off of pit road. Now he brings the field to the green flag. We're back underway. Timothy Peters going with 2 tire stop, was second on the restart. Now here comes Ron Hornaday trying to take second away.
Whoa, whoa, man, the 3 truck went down in there and did not turn. That was almost a crash.
3 wide, 4 wide, coming off of turn number 2.
It's going to get ugly back here.
Ray, what's happening with Justin Lofton?
Well, guys, I just wanted to add him to the list of people who decided on 2 tires. They made a great track position call there, going out 5th, and Lofton was right there with the action whenever that number 3 truck got loose. He's on the high side now, but they gained track position by doing 2 tires.
Trouble. There goes Austin Dillon. Dillon was on the inside.
Hold the brake.
No contact yet. He slides.
Hold the brake. Hold the brake.
Everybody's going to miss him.
That is unbelievable.
Get going here.
How those guys all
going.
missed him, I will never know.
He's running 5th, and he spins out in front of the entire field, and nobody hits him.
And he doesn't hit anything. He doesn't hit the wall.
Yeah.
But that truck was not very good on that
guys.
restart. He was really loose going down in the corner.
Come easy. Don't let it tear the fenders off of it.
He's afraid that he's got a tire down.
Go easy. 4 tires, guys.
Take a look. What just happened on the inside of Nelson Piquet Jr.
He's just going to he chases it up the hill just a little bit. He gets a little bit loose there. He has to move up the racetrack. He makes contact with Nelson Piquet, but he was already going around when that happened.
Yeah, but look at all these trucks. Left, right, right at him right there. And everybody makes it through, slides back down the hill. Goodness gracious, that was close.
With the luck that Brendan Gaughan and the South Point Toyotas had this year, I thought maybe Austin was going to slide right up in front of Brendan. Brendan had committed to the outside, but Austin was able to stay right where he was, and Brendan able to get by on the outside. There's another shot of it right there.
Phil, I don't know what they did to that truck, the 3 truck on the last stop. Look how close these guys get. Goodness. Ray, what do you got, buddy?
Well, they're going to do 4 tires here, Darrell, on the Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. Austin Dillon said, I know I slid them bad, and you can see that of the tires coming off a little bit. Now they got rights on only. They didn't feel like they could do 4 here and still beat the pace car off, so they'll be back down for lefts here in just a second.
But the truck wasn't very good on that. I don't know what they did, made some adjustment or air pressure, whatever. But even on the start, going down into turn 1, he near lost it the first time by.
And he put 4 tires on. You really, when you put 4 tires on, you don't get the buildup on the tires like if you stay out on hot tires, if you only put 2 tires. So I don't think that was a situation. Here's Johnny Saunders on board. You see what he sees. He sees Austin sliding towards the outside. He gets back in the throttle to sneak by on the inside.
Look at our man Colwitt. Watch what he sees. Here he comes, here he comes. Which way do I go? Which way do I go? Yo!
Which way's Austin going to go? Todd Bodine continuing to work on that 30 truck. It wouldn't surprise me if the 30 was racing for the win as the laps continue to wind down. Take a look at our Dodge Ram guts and glory. It's got to be the guys on pit road so far this evening.
You know, this is a new fueling system that all the series of NASCAR had. The Truck Series actually had it last year. It's the ventless system. You don't have to have a catch can, man, but it's a lot more difficult to make that connection and to hold it. And you see, we saw 3 instances already tonight of that can getting stuck in there, and those guys those gas men having to chase that can down.
Yeah, there you see the system, and it has to be plugged in perfectly. Not like the old system where you could get it half in, half out. It would still work. This got to be plugged in perfectly.
That was our Dodge Ram Tough, Guts, and Glory, our gas men tonight. Lining up 2x2 once again, just 39 laps to go when they come to the stripe. It'll be 38 remaining in this one. Kyle Busch closing in on 20,000 laps led in NASCAR. On the outside will be Ron Hornaday. We see the pace car making its way down pit road once again.
2 restart kings here on the front row. We see who prevails.
Remember, Michael in the 4 gets the Aaron's lucky dog. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch with another great restart.
Timothy Peters pulls up right inside of Ron Hornaday in that battle for second. Remember, Peters got 2 tires on his last pit stop.
Trying to hang on to the second spot. Hornaday able to clear, and here comes Nelson Piquet Jr. as they come out of 2 and onto the backstretch. Jockeying for positions behind him.
Matt Crafton ducks to the inside of the 51 of Justin Johnson. There's Brendan way to the outside, right behind the 60 of Cole Witt.
Brendan has been in no man's land several times.
Austin Dillon restarted 23rd. He was the last truck on the lead lap. So we have 23 trucks now on the lead lap. Kyle Busch out front by almost a half a second on Hornaday already after the restart. Here comes Crafton once again, trying to make the pass on Justin Johnson in the 51.
Still there, you and him.
David Starr. Oh, Colwood has a problem. He's up on the high side of the racetrack, losing several positions.
I know we talk about it a lot, how good Kyle Busch is, but that right there was his 20,000th lap led in NASCAR. He continues to set records.
Hey, that is amazing. But he's won 92 times in all the 3 major series. That's his 528th NASCAR start, and winning 92 times, that's almost 1 out of 5.
That's a really good win percentage.
Built that nice new facility over there for this team, for his truck team. And I'd say they got a whole warehouse full of trophies to put in it as well.
3 wide in front of Cole Wett.
Trying to make the run on the outside. He's got Justin Johnson in front of him. Now to the inside. 3 wide. It's David Starr in the middle. Parker Kligerman on the inside.
I got to give a tip of hat to Goodyear, because I tell you, I've been over here a lot of races, and I've never seen these guys be able to run 2 and 3 wide like they have tonight. It's been amazing.
Cole Wett way up the racetrack now as he had made that pass on David Starr.
Still there.
Still chasing down Parker Kligerman, who is in front of him now in the 29. So it's Kyle Busch, Ron Hornaday, Timothy Peters, James Buescher running in the 4th spot. Nelson Piquet Jr. running 5th. They continue to go 2 wide. Back here 4 position. You see Brendan Gaughan tucking in behind the 23 of Jason White.
I think they've helped that 30 truck of Top 09. He's right there running behind Brendan, his teammate, and in front of another teammate, the 9 of Max Pappas. Here's Jason White's going to move to the inside of the Zachary Toyota of David Starr.
What I've noticed about the 30 truck, Phil, is he can run through the corners pretty good now, but he's hurting on his straightaway.
Hermie, how's James Buescher doing?
Rick, James Buescher and his group have had a really solid night. They started 17th, and we just showed an issue on pit road where he actually drug the gas can out of the pit box, lost a lot of track position. But his truck has been fast all night. No chassis adjustments, just a couple small air pressure adjustments, and James Buescher is looking at a solid top 5 run tonight.
You know what I like about those gas can men, though, both of them that we saw fall, they were committed. They were not going to let those cans leave the pit box. That's pretty special right there.
That was guts and glory. James Buescher just in front of Nelson Piquet Jr. Again, those two running 4th and 5th. Craig Gose with a pretty impressive run. He runs in the 6th spot right now, just ahead of Justin Lofton.
That's a great run for Craig Gose and that Eddie Sharp Racing team.
31 laps of racing to go. Kyle Busch out front, 1.2 seconds in front of Ron Hornaday.
Justin Lofton having a good run. He parlayed. There he is right there racing side by side with the 88 of Matt Crafton for the 7th position. He parlayed 2 tires into some good track position, as Ray was telling us earlier.
Craig Gose currently running in the 6th spot. He's run all the way back there at 24th.
He got an Aaron's lucky dog, got him back on the lead lap, back in contention. Brendan Gaughan getting by the 21 of Elliott Sadler.
Yeah, something's wrong with. I don't mean there's something wrong with the 21, but he can't keep it on the bottom. The last 2 laps, the truck is just taking off and running way up the racetrack with him. He can't get back to the bottom. He's getting past left and right. Ray.
Harold, he just said after that last pit stop, whatever adjustments they made took a lot of grip out of the truck. He said he can feel the front end chattering, and he doesn't have any drive off on his right rear.
That's pretty bad. Both ends are messed up. That's what he's saying.
Jason White just in front of Elliott Sadler. And they're running in the 15th and 16th position. Here's battle for 4th. James Buescher has it. Nelson Piquet Jr. still closing the gap.
Nelson Piquet Jr. has been competitive this entire race. This is his best race by far. He's been racing up in the top 5 and in the top 10 and making some great quality passes.
Even though his career best came at Daytona, it was 6th. This is, as you mentioned, his best overall race.
It started with qualifying. He qualified well. That set the stage for having a great run tonight.
Continues to chase after the 31 of James Buescher. Buescher also looking to improve upon his best finish, which was 2nd at New Hampshire.
We have some great high-speed racetracks coming, too. Good battle for 10th. Parker Kligerman on the inside in that Penske Truck Leasing Dodge. Justin Johnson, Vision Airlines out of Las Vegas. On the outside, here's Cole Wett. They're going to jump to the inside of Parker Kligerman.
Watch that right there. That entry in the corner down that low underneath somebody usually gets into the guy on the outside, but they made it. Cole Wett's got a fast truck. But you know that Justin Johnson, he has done a really nice job tonight. But he fades after they run over. New tires, that truck is bad fast. But he fades when they run a few laps.
He had a top 10 in his debut at Phoenix earlier this year, finished in the 8th spot.
Cole Witt able to make the pass on Parker Kligerman. Now Kligerman battles back on the bottom of the racetrack to try to get back by. Buscher trying to hold on to the position. Nelson Piquet Jr. takes it away. So fourth goes to Nelson Piquet Jr. They'll be looking forward to Timothy Peters, who's running in the third spot. These two continue to battle for position. That's for the 11th spot. How about David Starr making the move on Parker Kligerman now, and here comes Brendan Gaughan to the inside.
Here we go, 3 wide again. These guys have been doing it all night. Sorted out when they get down here to the corner, thankfully.
You talked about it earlier, Darrell. These short races, these guys have to get on it right away, and these guys have been racing from the drop of the green flag.
There's such an intensity to, I mean, you're talking 150 laps. A couple of pit stops, baby, and this thing's over with.
25 laps remain. Kyle Busch just passed Mike Skinner for most laps led at Nashville. He has over 250 laps led here in just 2 starts.
Kyle Busch has finished first or second in his Truck Series career in 47% of his starts. Almost half.
He looks real tense right there, doesn't he?
Kyle Busch, 1.6 seconds in front of Hornaday. It's time for Just for Men Live Forward. We look forward to our next race here on Speed, Dover International Raceway. That one airs at 8 p.m. That's May 13th. 11 different winners and 11 different races.
And the last 3 Dover races, 3 first-time winners.
Brian Scott was one.
Scott Speed
was another.
Eric Almirola.
And Eric Almirola. You had help.
Well, a little bit. Jimmy,
I wonder,
just a little bit.
I wonder what all those signs with names on them were. I said, what are they doing?
Kyle Busch has signs of another victory. 2.6 seconds separate he and Ron Hornaday. By the way, that was Just for Men hair color. Live Forward. Kyle Busch living forward right now and looking forward to potentially another guitar, which is 17 laps of racing to go. Timothy Peters runs in the 3rd spot. Nelson Piquet Jr. 4th. And James Buscher in 5th.
As you mentioned, Craig Ghost continues to hold down that 6th position. Great effort for that Eddie Sharp Racing team.
Crafton and Sauter running 7th and 8th, and those two haven't been able to settle it on the racetrack yet.
They've been together pretty much the whole time. You see them separated by about 6 truck lengths right here. That's only because a few laps ago, Johnny Sauter was right on his rear tailgate, had to slam on the brakes coming off for turn 4.
I think they'll be having a little team meeting when this race is over with.
They're not done yet either, because they're going to get back together here.
And it's going to happen sooner than later. Again, they're teammates. Matt Crafton in the 88 just in front of Johnny Sauter in that 13.
In the process of opening up a brand new race shop up in Sandusky, Ohio. Just a beautiful state-of-the-art facility. I think it's probably a month, 2 months away. I was talking to the team manager, David Pepper. He said it's amazing that the guys will go over there after work and say, I can't believe that we're going to actually be able to work in this building here in a couple months.
Herman.
Yeah, you see right here, Johnny Sauter reeling back in his crew chief, his teammate, Matt Crafton, and Johnny Sauter is less Rick. Turn 4, guys.
Yep, we got a spinner. That's Nick Hoffman in the 63. And the 62 around the Brendan Gaughan goes around out of turn 4.
Yeah, Brendan was caught by the 63.
Let's keep it rolling.
I think Brendan saw the wreck and checked up.
Good, turn 3.
Looks like most of the damage is behind the rear tire on that South Point Toyota.
Again, the 63 of Nick Hoffman spun coming off of turn number 4. You see damage to the right rear of the 62 of Brendan Gaughan.
There's where Nick made contact with Brendan.
Serious damage to the 63 truck.
One of the crew members is pointing to the wall. They're going to put that truck behind the wall.
Let's see what happened here, Phil.
And I looked up and he was sideways over in turn number 4. Nick was. You see him. Cole Witt's going to slide up the racetrack, gets loose, makes contact with Nick.
Boy, nice job by David Starr. He gets through, and Brendan was trying to get through. Just the 63 came down and clipped him.
95% of this race, Brendan Gaughan has run the outside line, and he goes to the inside there and gets clipped.
Well, I think this is what he saw up ahead, though. He saw the 60 get into 63, Man, it's pretty hard contact for Brendan's truck as well.
There's Jason White. You see, he sees it up ahead. He gets on the brakes, and he was just far enough back from Brendan. He was able to get on the brakes and stop and try to determine which way Nick Hoffman was going to go.
Here's the way it was all started. Cole Witt bumps into that 63.
Yeah, certainly not intentional. We saw him get a little bit loose, and he was off the throttle for sure the whole time he was gaining on that 63.
Yeah, he just Cole Witt got in hard into turn 3, shoved up just enough to get in the back of the 63 truck and send him sailing.
That means side by side for the restart with under 13 laps of racing to go. Things are heating up here on Speed, our 200th broadcast of the trucks. Welcome back to the Boley Hill Vineyards 200 on Speed, your motorsports authority. We are under our 5th caution of the night. This time it was the 60, 62, and 63 involved in an incident on turn number 4. It's our 200th race broadcast, and check out the people that have been up here in the booth.
Oh, what an elite group.
That's a full page worth, isn't it?
An elite group by all means.
In those 200 races, Greg Biffle has joined us in the booth. Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer, Boris said he actually joined us in the booth, then went down and raced, and came back and joined us in the booth one time.
That's because he was looking for a place to hide.
On pit road, we've had Adam Alexander, Wendy Venturini, Tony Rizzuti, Bob Dillner, Chris Devoto. We want to say thank you to everyone. It takes so many people, not just the ones that are on camera, but those behind the cameras as well, to put on this show. And we do truly have more fun than anyone in the industry.
And when I'm not up here helping you do this, I'm at home watching. I'm a big fan.
Speaking of fun, these guys might not be having as much fun as we're having. They're teammates.
Yeah, they're a team as well. That was early, about 30 laps ago. This has just happened just a few laps before the caution. I don't know if Matt didn't go or Johnny really went.
I think Johnny was just trying to stick it up under him there, and it didn't work.
And they're starting side by side.
9 laps of racing to go. Kyle Busch back into the gas. Hornaday on his outside. Green flag in the air.
Boy, that was a ragged restart.
I think Kyle brought him down really slow for some reason.
Something really happened there. Well, you got 2 of the best guys in the business on restarts right here, and they argue about that time to time about which one's the best.
Can Kyle Busch hold off Ron Hornaday? Hornaday looks to the inside as they go down the backstretch.
He has a position on the inside.
Hornaday trying to steal it away from Kyle Busch. Up the racetrack they go. Hornaday takes the lead.
You know how many times I've seen Hornaday drive down under somebody and make it?
Out in front is Ron Hornaday. He becomes the 4th different driver to lead here tonight.
I don't think Kyle Busch is going to be very happy with how Ron Hornaday took that lead by moving him so far up the racetrack.
Well, that was a great move on Ron's part. He drove in there. It was like he didn't care if he wrecked or not. I'm going to make a pass or I'm going to wreck.
And he made the pass. Now Kyle Busch trying to figure out if he can get back by.
Oh, I think he can get back by him. I think Kyle was a little bit surprised that Ron drove in as hard as he did and was able to make it stick.
Here he comes one more time. Let's see if Kyle Busch can make the move. They go through the tri-oval into turn number 1.
Well,
Hornaday has to go up the track a bit now.
You notice Ron didn't cut him off.
Hornaday stays up wide. Here comes Busch. Can he take the lead back on the inside? They're door to door down the backstretch.
Got Timothy Peters lurking behind him.
And a spinner.
Max Pappas.
In turn number 2, they get turned around. That's Max Pappas, and the caution will come out once again.
Now that's going to be a call right there because Kyle going down the back was maybe a fender out in front of Ron there. We'll see how the NASCAR calls it.
They'll review it. They'll go back to the previous loop. But when the caution flag came out, that's what will determine who will lead this race on the restart.
Guys, it doesn't matter. We get to do the restart again. They'll start side by side.
Well, the guy that's leading is in control of the start. That's where it really does matter.
Yep. So Max Pappas gets turned around in turn number 2. This is 3 wide racing as they go into turn 1.
2 more teammates.
Yep.
Another teammate, Brendan Gaughan on the outside.
Max comes down there. Brad Sweet was there. Just a slight bit of contact. Elliott Sadler does a great job getting by on the inside.
Oh, wow.
Very close call there.
I've never seen so close a call that I've seen tonight.
Jamie Dick did a nice job avoiding that 9 truck of Max Pappas.
Max Pappas was running in the 18th spot when he went around.
Now, you said we got another restart, and we do, but guess what? Kyle Busch will be ready this time. He's not going to let Ron Hornaday pull that again.
Ron Hornaday was on the outside. He had a great restart. He stayed to the outside until he got down the backstretch, and then he moved to the inside, got the preferred line, and ran him up the racetrack. And now we're hearing that Ron Hornaday is being scored your race leader. Ray.
Just to add to that, Kyle Busch just got on the radio and he said, "What should I do here, guys?" Eric Phillips, his crew chief, said, "Go to." What go to means is change your ignition box. They have different ignition systems here. They go to the backup, go to number 2. That may mean a little bit of a different situation for him on the restart. Hermie?
Yeah, on the Ron Hornaday Jr. radio, they're talking to Ron, and Ron actually came on the radio and said, "I got in the corner a little bit hot and moved Kyle up the racetrack. I guess he's probably mad about now." And Jeff Hensley, crew chief, comes on the radio and says, "Oh, he'll be all right." So we'll see what happens.
He'll be all right.
You know what Ray was talking about, them moving to another ignition system. There's 2 complete ignition systems, probably a little more ignition timing. That engine will probably run just a little bit better with a little bit more timing. Not something you want to do for 150 laps, but for 3 or 4 laps, going to be fine.
Probably a little more timing and a little more RPM. The rev limiter, maybe you got it set where you're at certain RPM. That's going to take it up a notch. So, yeah, you're going to get a little more performance out of that engine here.
Do you chance trying to pass on the outside going into turn 1?
Well, I think Kyle can pass on the outside going into turn 1 if Ron doesn't run him up the hill.
Ron made the comment earlier. Kyle probably a little bit upset about that. Lights off the pace car. They'll line up 2 by 2 once again. We'll have 3 laps of racing to go. And how about some really good runs by guys like Nelson Piquet Jr., James Buescher, Craig Gose in the 46 running 8th.
David Starr running 9th right now. Jason White running 11th. Cole Witt back in 12th. Parker Kligerman 13th. Justin Johnson up in the top 15.
Some pretty good strategies, too. I mean, you think about Peters, he got 2 tires, and he's sitting here in 3rd place. He's in pretty good shape, too.
Here's our Aaron's lucky dog, the 66 of Justin Marks.
When they come back to the start-finish line, it will be 3 laps of racing to go, and that is the scheduled distance. This is not a green-white checkered finish. We hope we don't have to go that direction, right?
Well, and just to add to what Darrell was saying about the 2 tires on the 17, Butch Hilton reminded Timothy Peters, he said, "Do not forget, you don't need to be a hero here. We got you in position to get a good finish. If you can win it, do it. But don't get yourself in trouble and forget that you only had 2 tires and the rest of those guys got 4.
Well, Ray, I tell you, I think he's sitting in a pretty good spot here, because if the 33 and 18 go off in the corner down here mad at each other, they may take each other up the hill. Peters drives by.
We saw that happen with Todd Bodine and Mike Skinner in one of our top 10 moments.
Ready.
The field 2 by 2 coming back to the green flag. Hornaday back in the gas. Green flag back in the air. Kyle Busch a little slow off the restart.
Hornaday nailed it. He got him.
How about Timothy Peters? Kyle's going to drive back by on the outside. He's going to hold that throttle down.
Here comes the momentum of the 18. Kyle Busch rockets at him. Turn number 2. He'll look to the inside. Can he make the pass?
Payback. Payback. Here I come. Just like you.
Still there.
Kyle Busch
inside you up the hill.
Holds it down on the yellow line as they go through 3 and 4. He comes out through the tri-oval. 2 laps of racing to go.
Nelson Piquet is making his way around to Timothy Peters in the 17 as they go to turn 1.
Nelson Piquet Jr. takes 3rd away from Timothy Peters. He runs the high line. Now they're side by side.
Gets a nice run off turn 2 over there. Got some momentum down the back. Goes by the 17 of Peters.
James Buescher also passing on the outside of that 88 of Matt Crafton. This time, coming out of turn number 4 and into the tri-oval. Kyle Busch will see the white flag go in the air. One more time around.
You think Kyle Busch was on a mission after he lost that lead to Ron Hornaday?
Oh, yes. No question about it.
Now Hornaday trying to hold off the 8 of Nelson Piquet Jr. A great run.
Hornaday
A bobble by the 33. Down to the inside goes the 8 of Nelson Piquet Jr. They race down the backstretch for 2nd.
Here comes the 17. He's taking a look underneath the Ron Hornaday.
Nelson Piquet Jr. trying to hold it on the bottom of the racetrack. Way up the track goes Hornaday. Timothy Peters is going to take 3rd away. Coming through the tri-oval, it's Kyle Busch winning at Nashville.
They come 3 wide across the line, 23-4, and I think it was Cole Witt. Man, that was a race.
Awesome job, guys. Awesome job. Awesome job, Eddie DeHutt. Way Way to wheel that thing, Mr. Busch. That's awesome.
26th career win in just his 89th start in the Camping World Truck Series.
You know, I wonder, that guy finishing second, Nelson McKee Jr., I wonder if we're witnessing a star being born right here in NASCAR.
Well, he did a great job tonight. Watch this. Watch these guys coming to the line.
Cole Witt on the outside.
Ricky Carmichael, Jason White down there, and he's on the apron.
Right at the stripe. It is too close to call. Jason White, Ricky Carmichael, and Cole Witt. Our scoring monitor has White in front of Carmichael, but Witt in front of White. So Cole Witt scored 12, Jason White 13. What an amazing finish by Kyle Busch. His crew chief Eric Phillips is with Ray.
Well, 5 races this season and 3 wins for Eric Phillips. Congratulations. But were you nervous at all there in those final laps?
Yeah, I mean, Hornaday got us on that restart, and when the caution come out, I thought we were on all right spot. Kyle, he just pissed the bear off there was all he did, and poked at him a little bit. That's the, you know, everybody wants to say Kyle's calmed down, but when he puts that helmet on, he's still pretty excited. And thanks to Dollar General, all these Toyota guys. Toyota's put a lot of work into some things the last few weeks, and it's paying off.
I heard you say go to. I'm assuming that was secondary ignition. Was that a big help?
No, that's something else. But
okay, secret. We'll have to find out what the real deal is from Eric Phillips.
Kyle Busch climbing out of his truck. He'll do his bow to the crowd.
I don't think Eric's going to tell us what that go-to is.
No, I don't think so either, but he had a big smile on his face.
I like codes.
And I tell you what, the crowd here is cheering for Kyle Busch. Yeah. They saw something very amazing right there. He put on a great performance. Led 140 of the 150 laps here tonight. Ron Hornaday coming home in the 4th spot. He's with Hermie.
Well, he came on 4th, but he made this thing very, very interesting. Talk about those last 10 to 15 laps. Looks like it was second, then maybe a win, ended up 4th, but you guys were solid all night.
Well, my hat's off to everybody who works on this HI Steakum Chevrolet. Came a long ways. I mean, we were snug all day in practice. We qualified, we were loose, and we just started the race, we were snug again. And I just wore the right front tire off it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I started backing the corner up, and it wouldn't still turn, so I got in there and tried to use the brake in the last couple of laps. I mean, I blew it. I mean, we gave that one away, and then we ended up coming out 4th. So it just takes a lot of people, and I got to thank them all at KHI for giving us an opportunity. Reams, take them. There's a lot of people in there, and I'm just frustrated right now. But thanks.
Ron Hornaday, a disappointing 4th for him, guys.
Well, we talked about a lot of people in front of the cameras and behind the cameras. We do want to thank you, the fans, for sticking with us. 200 races here on Speed. And it was Kyle Busch who grabs the win at that magic milestone for us, race number 200. And he did it in dominating fashion, leading 140 of the 150 laps here tonight. We'll hear from him when we come back. Welcome back to Bully Hill Vineyards 200, now in the books. And the victor in victory lane. He's there with Ray.
And here comes Kyle Busch out of this Dollar General Toyota. Sam Bass will walk up to present a guitar, but watch out for the NOS energy drink flying. Guitar in hand. When Kyle Busch wins, they take all the hats from Victory Lane and they put them in a big package
for you guys.
And then you put them in a storage cabinet over at your shop. I guess my question is, are you going to have to expand the storage shop over at KBM?
I'll do whatever it takes, man. Whatever buys wins, you know. That's what it's all about. But man, I can't say enough about this team, all these guys. Happy Easter to everybody out there. It's a happy Easter weekend. So we're proud to be out here in Nashville racing in the Dollar General's backyard. And Rick, Ellen, and Amy are here with us, so it's really cool to have them along for the ride today, and hopefully they have some good luck for tomorrow. But I can't tell you enough about these guys on this team. I mean, phenomenal job. This Toyota Tundra was awesome, thanks to the Triad engine guys that give me some great horsepower, and Flexco, Butler seats, and Joe Gibbs driven racing oil, and of course Gillette, Marquee Jets, the fans, Camping World. It's a series I love to race in, I love to participate in, and Ray, you're really freaking me out with the mustache, man.
Sorry, it's here to stay, so you need to get used to it. And what you might get used to, Hornaday comes in and says hi, what you might get used to, too, is the fans cheering, because tonight when you went to Victory Lane, they all stood up and cheered, so that's pretty cool.
It was. Well, it was a good show. You know, I mean, it might have been boring, I guess, for about the first 140 laps or so, but Hornaday came up there and made things interesting. So, hell of a wheel, man. I mean, that old man still gets after it, I'll tell you that. So he definitely gave us a whirlwind there, and I pulled the same move on him that he pulled on me. You know, you just drive it off in turn 3 and slide up the racetrack in front of the guy. So I said, sure, all right, I'll do the same thing. You know, I got a run on the top, and he went up to the wall just like I did, and so I went to the bottom and just said, we're either both going to wreck or we're going to somehow make it out of here. So we made it happen.
Were you confident, Kyle, that your truck was good enough to stick down there and make that pass to get the win?
Our truck was really good. I mean, it had a great feel to it all night long, and Eric and the guys did a really good job at adjusting on it. And, you know, we made some minor tweaks to it much of the race there, just with the track cooling off and continuing to get a little bit better for us. So, you know, it was really good for us to just get some notes on it for tonight, so maybe we can help Jason out for tomorrow night.
This is chassis number 4, and this truck has win number 6. I think he likes it. Hermie?
Well, Ray, want to catch up with Timothy Peters. Third place finish tonight. We kept waiting for those 2 tires to fail you, and you hung in there. Got a good, nice, solid finish tonight.
Absolutely. Butch Hilton made a great call to get his track position again. And I tell you, it's just a testament to this Red Horse Racing team. This is what wins us championships right here. Can't thank Crescent Tools enough. Dixie Homecrafters coming on board with us for this race. And, you know, love Nashville. We finished third last 3 races, so I was like, they're coming to the white. I'm like, man, we're going to get 4th again. But, you know, it all worked out. We got 3rd. Like to give a shout-out to Mark Schmuck. You know, he lost his father last week, and thinking about David Quay and his mama. We wish her well, so ready to go to Dover, man.
A good run tonight for Timothy Peters. He comes home 3rd. Rick?
It's good to see the guys who, you know, have good finishes, big smiles on their faces. Obviously, you know, Timothy Peters gets a 3rd place finish here. Ron Hornaday, not the finish that he wanted, comes home in 4th, but still a great performance.
Yeah, 4 top 5s in a row for Hornaday after having trouble in Daytona.
The teammates came out pretty well, 6th and 7th, Crafton and Sauter. Be nice to see what they had to say about each other.
That might be an interesting team meeting come Monday. Celebration continues for Kyle Busch. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Bully Hill Vineyards 200. It is in the books, and all smiles right now on these 2 teammates, Hermie.
Well, I think I made a little bit late. Did I miss the fight? What happened? Who won?
I got him on the ground. I mean, this was a hard race today. I mean, I was so loose, and I got loose. And I started to correct him. I went back down to correct. We hit, and we'll just say that. And he got the worst end of the deal, to be honest.
Well, talk about your night, though. I mean, you race hard with your teammate on the racetrack, but you're racing for those positions that Matt that mean something up front.
Yeah, I mean, you know, me and Matt are good friends away from the racetrack and at the racetrack, and we got a good thing going at ThorSport. So we struggled with our curb record safe auto Chevy tonight, and it was a brand new truck, and we just, you know, we were loose in practice, and then we got it to where we were tight, and, you know, so we freed it back up, and I had an inkling we were going to be loose tonight, but couldn't be more proud of my guys. Pit stops were solid tonight. We just missed the setup somewhere a little bit.
Well, you should be worried about him. You need to be worried about Chris DeVota getting you back for that episode on pre-race. Are you going to be worried about that in the coming weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking forward to maybe getting to Victory Lane tonight, but I knew she was going to be getting me back with some cake. I mean, we just missed a little bit the same. We were really bad in practice, really tight, laying on the splitter, and then we looked at kind of some of the stuff they were doing, and we made it turn, and it turned really good today. We couldn't get the back to catch up with the front, but all in all, not a bad day.
Matt Crafton, the only driver that's been on all 200 broadcasts of the Truck Series here on Speed.
And I'm not sure if they'll let him, or Chris is going to let him back after putting cake in her face. Let's take a look at our unofficial results from this 200th race here on Speed. Kyle Busch goes to Victory Lane once again.
What an outstanding job by Nelson Piquet Jr. to finish second.
And I love the strategy that Timothy Peters and his crew used to get that 3rd place finish. Paid off.
Busher gets a nice top 5 finish. Teammates Matt Crafton, Johnny Sauter, 6th and 7th. Craig Ghost with a top 10.
Yeah, finished 9th.
Yeah, nice recover for the Austin Dillon, too. I mean, he was over on the back straightaway looking at the entire field late in the race.
Brendan Gaughan had a little damage. He finishes in the top 20.
25 trucks finish this race on the lead lap. Justin Marks got the last Aaron's lucky dog to get back on the lead lap.
And Mike Garvey rounds out our field. Celebration continues in Victory Lane for Kyle Busch, and the guy who was closest to him at the finish, Nelson Piquet Jr. with a career best finish, is with Hermie Sadler.
A lot of people happy around the Nelson Piquet Jr. truck. Solid run, second place finish. Tell us about your night.
That's all we needed. I mean, I don't have much words. I'm a bit too happy to be through, but we had a tough start of the season, and the tracks were difficult in the beginning, but I knew once we came to the quick tracks, we would give some results. So really happy for the whole team for believing in me, and I think this is just the beginning of our season. We're just going to get better and better now, and I'm just too happy to say anything more.
Well, Nelson Piquet Jr., he's been fast all day, solid, especially on those last restarts. He comes home second.
And very emotional, and he should be. What a phenomenal race he ran tonight.
And this is a young man that's raced all over the world. He is, in Formula One, the top racing series in the world, and here he is emotional about finishing in a second place in a truck race.
And here we are on a concrete track tonight. And where are we going next?
Concrete, baby.
We head to Dover, our next stop. Stay with us. More here on Speed. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by The Rally, powered by Camping World and Dish Network. The Rally is the largest RV event in America. Visit www.therally.com for more information. By Aaron's. You don't need credit. All you need is Aaron's. And by Ram Trucks. Designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram. Take a look at our Ford point standings. Coming in, it was Johnny Sauter who was up top. And he's still up top. 3 points in front of Timothy Peters. Matt Crafton, his teammate, drops 1 spot.
Hornaday up a spot, only 5 points out of the lead now.
And Parker Kligerman in the top 10 in point standings, and he's standing by with Hermie Sadler.
Well, another driver had a solid finish tonight, a top 10, Parker Kligerman. It's always good to get a top 10, especially at a place like Nashville. Tell us how your truck was tonight.
Well, we started 10th, and we were on the outside, and we just got a terrible start. Fell right back, and we were super loose, but we worked on the truck all night. And at one point, we were about 7th place, 7th or 6th, and we had a top 5 truck. It was absolutely awesome, and I think we came in with that 30 to go, put the 4 tires on, we left some lug nuts loose. I don't even think it was a mishap with the pit crew as much as we had a little deal with the clutch letting the car roll a little bit on the jack. Unfortunate, but we fell all the way back, and I told my guys I'm not giving up. I don't ever give up as long as you guys don't give up on me. And we fought all the way back to 10th place, and I think we passed about 5 cars that last restart. So we had a great Penske truck run on Ram today.
And you've got driver Brett Keselowski to talk to when you get out of the truck after the race. What kind of words of encouragement did he have for you?
He helped me throughout the race. Honestly, he'd come on the radio, saying, "All right, that's the line you need." And throughout the beginning of the race, I was kind of searching around trying to find my groove, and he really fine-tuned me in that point. I can't thank him enough for that. He's a really good coach in that sense. He's a great owner, too. I hate that we didn't get that top 5, but we came here with the intention of just getting our season rolling with some momentum, and we got there now. So we'll go with this.
That's Parker Kligerman. He got a top 10 tonight.
It's fun to hear a guy like Parker Kligerman saying, Brad Keselowski was giving me advice, and we've seen how Brad Keselowski grew from the Truck Series now to what he's doing today in the Cup and Nationwide Series.
I like he has his own team, too. That's impressive.
Investing back in the sport. We'll be back with more from Nashville after this. Welcome back to Nashville Super Speedway. We want to take a look at our AT&T call of the race. And how about the pit call by the 17 team?
Yeah, we got to give Butch Hilton a tip of the hat there. He was just outside the top 10 and 12th. He does a 2-tire change. You see, he almost beats Kyle out of the pit road, just lost by inches, but he parlayed that pit call into a 3rd place finish.
And that was the AT&T call of the race. I don't think Kyle Busch is allowed to touch the guitar.
He took it when he got out of the truck. He's given it to someone else ever since. He don't want to take any chance on dropping it or anything.
That's such a great trophy, though.
That's the 3rd guitar for Kyle Busch. He won the nationwide race. That's the one we're talking about where he broke the guitar thinking he would do it in rock and roll fashion. And from that point on, he's held those with kid gloves now when he gets a guitar.
That guitar is one of the most sought-after trophies that you could go for. It's like the grandfather clock from Martinsville. It's a great trophy.
Hermie Sadler.
James Bush, a top 5 finish. Talk about those last restarts. Those things look wild on the racetrack.
Oh, they were. Our Wolfpack Reynolds Chevy wasn't very good earlier today in practice and qualifying. I
I don't even think we were in the top 15 in practice or qualifying all day long. So to come home with a 5th place finish is pretty exciting for me, and you know, that just shows how much effort everybody's putting into Turner Motorsports. Everybody, you know, worked hard all night, and good pit stops were key. And like you said, those restarts were crazy, and our truck was good on new tires, and we had to pass on the restarts. You know, if we didn't pass on the restarts, we would have stayed back 15th or 20th, and we started that beginning of the race. We'd get 5 spots on a restart, and then, you know, just kind of maintain. And then the next time we'd pit, we'd get 5 spots on the restart and just maintain. And, you know, we got as high as almost 3rd there. And it looked like a couple of those guys might have been close to wrecking. So if they were to slip up, we were there to get them. But I don't think our truck had enough speed in it to even finish 5th. So to come home 5th is it's pretty awesome. I got to thank Chevy for all the support, and Exide and Wolfpack Reynolds for everything they do for us.
That's James Busher. He gets a top 5 tonight in Nashville.
Impressive finish for James Busher, Nelson Piquet Jr., but ultimately it was Kyle Busch who joins Johnny Benson now as the only other driver to be a repeat winner at Nashville Superspeedway. Our next stop for the Camping World Truck Series, Dover International Speedway. That's Friday, May 13th at 8 p.m. Thank you for joining us here for our 200th truck broadcast on Speed.
And thank you for letting me be a part of it, guys. I enjoyed it.
Always a great time when you watch the trucks here on Speed.
In 3 weeks, it's time once again for the Camping World Truck Series to pay a visit to Miles at the Dover International Speedway. Johnny Sauter and Matt Crafton of Thor Sport Racing are starting to take control of the season. Will they be able to control the monster as well? Chris Devoda hosts the setup starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage. Only on Speed.